tomorrow, same time, same place, as Mr. Sharif says, and we'll go back to him on the big desk. See ya.
Shout out to the Madmen. Welcome to the close, guys, here as we are red on the day, but looking to bounce back, no question about it. Let's see how the markets are faring. The S&P is down 0.83. The Dow really taking it on the chin, down 1.11%. The NASDAQ faring the best, 0.82. Toronto also red 1.6%. Bitcoin and Ethereum to the red side. Crude flat at the moment, trying to eke out a gain on yesterday's good move. Let's see what's moving now as we get into the rundown. Microsoft has been all the rave. It is up 1.22%, bucking the trend on some decent volume, 20 million shares. This got a price target upgrade, guys, from Morgan Stanley. They like it 415, up from 335, citing a lot of AI gains. Any look here on Microsoft?
Yo.
What up?
What up? Yeah, we had we actually had another dollar club here on Microsoft today. We actually bought this 338 dip. We posted it all throughout the show. I had no idea there was even news on this name. Sharif told me after when I was showing him this. We got out at the day's high at that time, which was right here, 340.70. I mean, basically, we were just playing off 341. Since then, it's absolutely screamed to the high side. So you can see some of the positions that, well, we only have AMD long right now, Intel short. But for right now, that's a nice move for Microsoft off that 338. So we absolutely crushed that name. So there's no doubt about that. Nice trade for Microsoft, and it's up and away. And I want to thank Steve G from our chat earlier on, was talking all about Microsoft, and I just forgot to get to it. So shout out to that. We got to it once it bounced around VWAP right there. Seems like it was a little bit of a hard trade inside there, but Microsoft's already at all-time highs and keeps on going. I mean, that all-time high, I guess, wicked as high as 350. Let's see if we take that out. Probably the next one to go here, Microsoft. So, yeah, good trading today, obviously. Neil and I will talk about Meta when that comes up. I don't know why. Can you believe Meta's not even on the board? I mean, that's one thing. So, anyways, we'll talk about Meta in a minute, but for right now, it's Microsoft. It's up and away. I love that name. Big shareholder of Microsoft.
Yeah, I actually didn't have Microsoft, but we'll probably have to talk about C3I. Oh, the position board, which was just working, is now gone. But if you look at what's going on with C3AI here, this is definitely going to be worthy of like a sympathy play. I know Max was trading this, but it already made one wick through 40, even as the market's maybe attempting to roll back over. I don't know. I just got into Google long, and all of a sudden, like the second I'm in that, the market wants to slow down, wants to slow down. But you had that wick high into yesterday's tops. This is where I don't like breaks. Like a 40 break into yesterday's high, it needs to clear 40.50, no? Like this is probably a chance to short it at 40 into 40.50. And if it breaks the high at 40.50, well, the air up there is pretty clear. That's not that good a movie, Sharif. But yeah, it's really not, it's pretty chere. Like where are the levels in the daily? 47, 48 for this name. So the AI names have been giving it back for most of the day. Just an incredible run if you look at what this has done from bottom to top. This wasn't even an SSR bottom, which is the reason I'm in Peloton long, by the way, because Peloton did have an SSR bottom, and I have the long off of that. But AI missed it by, I think, 8 to 10 cents, going 10% down, and decided to scream anyways. If it does not break through 40.50, I think I'd be looking at a short between 40 and 40.50. But the long above seems pretty spicy.
Next on the hopper, Piper Sandler not liking the entire group Upstart included, moving down. PayPal having to move down. They don't like the buy now, pay later group. They think that, well, hey, with higher interest rates are going to come tighter margins. Affirm taking it on the chin, 14.2%, finding a bit of support here at 13 though, guys.
Yeah, this was one of those flat bottom breakdowns early. Quite frankly, I'm going to probably say that a few times because we have Frank Caberna coming on here. But if you look at this, and it's a really cool term. What I love about it is you don't have to be a chartered market technician to be able to find a breakdown of support, a breakout, or a breakdown. All you need to look at is a key bounce point like here, like 14.5, and see it bounce, and pop over to your 15-minute, which gives you like a week or two worth of action. Look at the nice little trend, the veiled attempt at holding 14.5, the gap down, and then the breakdown, and then there you go. And it's a brilliant term to have coined, so I'm kind of proud of myself for not having coined that. So 14.5 broke. I was able to add at 14 even, but the real big miss, I am getting trailed out when it bounced off 13, but the miss was right at 13.5. So I get some out here at 13.65. I'm going to go back over to the 3-minute. Here is $13.5. There was this nice little bounce, the rejection of the 13.5 area, then the carry back into the downside. Why should that have been an add the third time? Because on the daily, that was a big support level on the way up. So when it took that out or paused there, that should have been a reload on the trend. I did not, which kind of sucks, but quite frankly, when a stock really free falls, it's not always easy to get in because it's falling so fast a lot of times. You get like one shot to like that level, to like the reload. But Affirm, it's hard to imagine if we don't get back above $13 that this, you could see 10. You could see $11 on this dip, on this pullback. It just rejected 20. You're both under each of the moving averages. You've broken all the major support. So if it doesn't climb back above like 13.5 or the 50 period, 200 period in the next day or two, you could easily see $11 on this stock. What are you going to do? Like, to me, it's a short until it proves otherwise every day for the next couple. Well, at least for the next week, I'd say.
Yeah, Affirm, pretty easy. I almost wrote on the sticky note. I was like, is it going to actually break that 14 or what? Like, what's up with that? But it does do that. A shout out to you, Daryl, out there, because you just talked about one person's one way, one's the other. I'm long AMD, but I'm with you. I was short the whole way. And now we're long on AMD as it's ripping up now 43 cents in the money. So we're barbecuing it up a little bit here on AMD, that's for sure. But I was agreeing with you. I don't know if I like the long, actually, but we short, short, boom, all the way short in here until we finally broke 113. Then we averaged into the long, and then boom goes the dynamite. Okay. Now I got to take something out here as we're at 47. Boom, there it is right now. So we'll just go, yeah, buddy, on that one. But I don't know. I'm not convinced. I mean, I'm short Apple here. We have Apple on there? No. So we'll talk about that quickly. Just against the day's high. Look at this. We've lost on Apple. I mean, some shorts were okay. We just got taken out right now on Apple right there. But right now, we're just going to try to take it against 191.50 right now for Apple. So here was the short. This was actually fine. Good short here. Short until we lost. Short again until we lost. Short was fine, but anyways, it's just, they're all small paper cuts. We're waiting for a bigger move here. I don't know if the futures are going to do that. I mean, this is just what the futures have been doing now, riding this 50 period pretty much all the way up. We had one little break there back down. That's probably where we started to get some shorts there. But yeah, anyways, futures trying to bounce off 15,240. Nothing really super significant, but let's see if we can get back to Greensville today. I don't know, you'd be surprised. Both the ES, wow, okay. Both the ES and the NASDAQ, how often do we see this?
Dead on.
Dead on, pretty much. I mean, just one more tick, you'll be dead on. So that's pretty crazy. There it is, 0.83 for the NASDAQ and the ES. You don't see that too often, but that's nice to see. So everything is sort of, consolidating now. So I like that. We'll see if we get some better plays. But there's Apple right now. We're short at 34.50.
Yeah, you definitely haven't seen the convergence between the two lately. They've been definitely diverging. All right. AI next, guys. What a mover. Down, up. We're almost back to break even here as we come back into that 40-20 level. Max was in this during the midday show. You had that rejection of yesterday's close, but here we go, curling right back up to it. What's the look?
So that's my
AI,
bad.
never heard of it.
I didn't realize that was on the run. I didn't see it on the rundown. I don't know, maybe I'm going blind in my old age. So I did already kind of say what I was looking for with C3AI, which is that 40-50 level up top. Let it break that. You go back to the 15, and you see yesterday, double top at 40-50 yesterday. That's just a bad dark pool wick this morning. It never got there. And you could be breaking that high as we speak. So if it gets to that price, I still feel like it can be shorted in front with a tight stop at 40-50. That's the level I would want the breakout on C3AI, because there's a lot of room to go to the upside once it gets to that. A 40 break, I guess you can always fade into it, like not really fade into it, that's more of a short. You can always get long into it. Not really my style with a squeeze type play. On a squeeze type play, I'd rather just take the breakout. So if it happens, it happens. I just want to quickly go, because none of these are on the list here. So let me just go over a couple of things. I might have talked about SSR bounces. Peloton got destroyed today. I don't have to tell you guys that. So Peloton went exactly 10% down, broke it by 1 cent, and then held the bottom. Once it did that, it rejected the bottom again, so I worked into the long. I got 41.5. It's gotten towards 50. If it gets to VWAP, great. That's the reason I'm in that trade. And then if you remember Mullen this morning, should have been short, was not short, tried the breakout. Breakout actually wasn't that bad if you're really into scalping it. Didn't really have a big hit or anything because I was free. I just got out of it right away when it didn't go. But when it bounced off 20 cents, is it bouncing off 20 cents? I grabbed the 21. It's stalling out at 25. So that's the reason for that position. Micron short, and Google's just breaking 120, which, again, we're not talking about that one either. But this is the second time I've tried this Google long. We were short in front of it earlier, but I went for the breakout long at about 1 o'clock, and that lost. And I'm in the breakout long again on Google 120. And that doesn't seem to want to follow through. It just has so much room to catch up. Like, that was the line I wanted to trade off in Alphabet, and there's so much room for it to go if it can hold on to this 120 level. It's one long I like, for sure, that is a big cap name. Mullen and Peloton, those aren't really your standard. If the market goes up, I'm going to get dragged to the upside with it. They don't care.
What? Mullen doesn't care what the broader market is doing? That's
well, you'd be surprised by it, but, you know, it's not really prone to follow the markets. Not a lot of institutions buying Mullen.
No. All right, so shout out to Daryl. I know you're in this as well, but it's a nice pullback off 113.50. Not nice pullback, just went down 10 cents off the high. About 20 cents off that most recent high. We just cleaned that out right there. We're pretty much out now, as we'll hold 10% left, exactly 10% left of this AMD long down here at 113. So for us, that was one of these. We actually did not have any fruit salad today. Actually, you had a good fruit salad there. You were talking about
the melon
that
was okay. Yeah, there was melon. It was good. You would have liked it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I like fruit salad for sure. All right, and then meanwhile, Apple is making that move down right now. So there it is. We'll take that O's. We'll take those 26s right there as it comes back in a little bit. Average price is 36. 37.38. I had an average price there. That's a 38 and that's a 30. So that's giving me that average. Or what is that? That's a 40 and a 30, 35, 36. All right, anyways, whatever. There's the move down there for Apple, so that's going to be a good one. And by the way, check out this reload. You guys want to talk about a sniper? Boom, boom, boom. I need that Arun key now that he's in retirement mode. Look at that. Hit the siren, 31.95. I mean, Arun's still trading, but from the show. Boom, 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 right there. Look at that. Nice little reload to the short side as we continue to make a move down. Let's go, Apple. Come on, buddy. You can get this back down in a little bit here. I don't like the fact that it's punch a little bit. Well, I'll take a little bit out there, 23. I don't like the fact that it's dancing too much around 20s here. I'm going to put another bit at 23, and then that's it, man. Now we can wait to see. Can we hit this home run on Apple or not right now? Maybe we're like Vladdy. He's heating up right now. Let's see if we can get back down into the downside here for Apple, but we'll go over JetBlue divorces AAL. I feel like I've seen that before as a title, but let's go over there and talk to Sharif about a divorce apparently in the airline sector.
It queued. Oh. Yeah, you queued that one up good, Sean. We'll talk quickly here about DOCN, the 68 million share float. Acquired today a company by the name of Paperspace for $111 million, up 12.25%, but the chart looks fantastic off that 40 level, knocking on the door 45, curling here. So one to look at, but watch out for the spread there. Yeah, JetBlue, guys, teased about this one. This one was the divorce between them and AAL. They will no longer be sharing routes or profit, and yeah, the market not liking that. Save, though, which is Spirit Airlines liking that because apparently that makes their merger more likely, which was unlikely, apparently, if AAL and them stayed partners. What's the look here, if anything?
You know what's interesting is I would have been, I said I liked the short on pretty much any strength in JetBlue because of where it was in the daily chart. So I didn't have it, so it doesn't really, none of that matters. Like look where it was on the daily. Like what does that scream to you at 9:35? And then you had a negative catalyst. At the open, it was down a little bit. There was a very minute pop. You could, I guess you could take it at 9.20 and give it 30 pennies, and that would have worked out risk to reward. But at the time, I didn't think the R&R was good on the trade unless it went to the upside. So there was no trade for me. In hindsight, it ended up falling enough that the trade was fine, but you can't really look at things that way. Like the way I saw it, let it run and get into the resistance level at least above 35, so you can risk 10 to 15 cents, not 30, or 30 to 40. But that ended up being wrong. So it is what it is. I didn't trade this name, and I don't see a trade off the bottom either. That Doc N.
Don't dox yourself.
Digital Ocean or whatever the heck it's called. This stock has been absolutely on one, and it's still trying to go into some local resistance, I guess, if it goes another $2. But yeah, maybe this has a chance of breaking out them highs. We'll see. We'll see if it does. I didn't mention Lucid. I'm short in front of $7. That was the one position I didn't talk about.
And Apple goes
another one.
Boom to the downside right now. We'll go bang on for some Apple. Look at this trade right here, 190, 130, 190, 140. Bring it down here for Apple. Nice little downside move right there. What do you want to talk about, JetBlue or AAL? I've already talked about the same thing. What was that? That's Jets. It's the Jets
Bring it on
ETF.
down to Profitville.
Bring it on down to Profitville. Bring it on down to Liquorville.
I love those so much. I honestly, those are some of my favorite sketches.
What the hell happened to my chart? It just, okay. Chart just blew up there. Okay, that's pretty cool. 1 day, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Is this my 1 minute chart?
Don't
no.
worry about the
Don't worry about the charts. Okay. So I was talking about this ETF from a long time. Those of you that know, I don't really care too much for the airlines, obviously.
Do you love it long time?
I love it long time, very, very much. But, for this one, it's just, I don't know, the top 5 holdings are 10% of each of the big ones. Delta, American, Southwest, something else and something else, all in there. So, there's a lot. What did I miss? Delta, American, Southwest.
United.
CCL, RCL, no. Anyways, Air Canada's in there, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sharif, I was here, don't worry. Yeah, Raheem talked about that today.
Oh, come on, man.
Come on, man. Air Canada today as well. Sharif's just killing it over there. I think he's trying to get this permanent spot and then put Brendo on the midday.
Sharif's dying over there.
Wow, Sharif he likes that idea. Well, we can discuss.
Oh boy.
Well,
Value jet
when Brendan comes back, yeah. JetBlue.
JetBlue.
But anyways, this is the Jets ETF. I just think if you want to get into that, it's at sort of period highs right here, going all the way back to January of 2023. So you're starting to break up a little bit higher right now from this name. So again, this is just the ETF. If you want exposure to it all, you got it right there with the Jets ETF. I'm just going to find out what happened with this chart, and back over to you, Sharif.
All right, guys, the rundown brought to you by Trade Ideas, real-time scanning and alerting used on our desk and by many of our traders every day. See what's happening in the movement with Trade Ideas. Check the link in the description for 20% off. Use the code tradertv20. All right, Meta the monster, guys. Last but not least, it's trying to go green. 0.14 to the downside. Had a big move up on that Threads release. They got a whole bunch of users. Any trade here, guys?
A whole bunch of users and one loser. Well, actually, I think we both wound up red on
well,
this. Well,
exactly, because I just gave it. I was long the entire. The irony is it sold off, right?
I hate
and
that
I
stock.
made money long and lost money short on Meta today, which is kind of hilarious because the stock was going down. But it held 293, which to me, like at the open, in too early, so I had to take a stop up. Then we let it wick the bottom, and then we got in the second time. Trailed out $1.50. Did the same thing when it wicked the bottom again. Trailed that one out at like $1 change. But then it broke 93, and I'm like, okay. Well, see that 290 level from yesterday that everybody was all over the break on? So when underneath there, I'm like, yeah, we're headed to 290. Completely convinced of that. It didn't go to 290. Suffice to be said. So I shorted a bunch. It broke out that 94. It's still at that same level. There might be a more calm down trade here off of the 94, 95 area. Because if it takes out 95, I think you could be headed back to 98. But if you don't actually get above that lower resistance, you still have 90 down there. That support, maybe it comes back at 93, usually once it's broken. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, I think 94, 95, if it's still short, maybe you look into that. 290 would be that's the level. If I see it today, I probably want to, I don't want to die on the sword, but I think that's where I'd want that long if I were to be able to get it. Again, it just feels like it's still short if we don't break out from here at 295. But the NASDAQ has other ideas, right? Like it's a huge recovery that if we start getting right back into that double bottom, like 15.26, if we get back and break that out, probably everything's going to run in tech land. So just watch out for the NASDAQ. If it tries to go green, I don't think you want to be short much of anything in the tech space. I say that. Still short Micron because at least that's holding down under VWAP.
Yeah, my bad there. Comp SRX1, you got me there. I was humming that Super Gremlin by Kodak Black because now it's in my head and it's.
Oh boy.
It's superstar. It's crazy song. I love that song now. Okay, so yeah, Meta can basically. Yeah, it can go in the gates of hell. But the thing is, it was like in the depths of hell when we got lost pretty badly to start the day. We were long, and we were long this whole way, man. We took it in the pre-market right there. Look at our pre-market long, 295. We got some of that at 298. So it was still $3 winner, but obviously on less shares because we did not have, let's go Apple to the downside. We smoking that trade right now. Let's go. Congratulations, Daryl, by the way. I see AMD's pulling back down, but Apple right now, 50 cents in the money. We just put back-to-back jacks on there for you. 50 cents AMD, 50 cents on Apple as well. But okay, let's just go over this real quick. So we just started defending this 93 area, right? We kept buying it. We got stopped out. We bought it back, got out there. Bought it back, got out, bought it back, got out. Like just kept on buying it back out. Then it was that last one right there. We were waiting. I mean, I was here with Max. We were here all together. And we wanted this thing to rip up. There's no doubt about that. I like that Neil tried to go short there. But, you know, like today it's...
I don't.
No, I don't either. But I think that at least you went short. I mean, I was only looking long. And unfortunately, once it broke that 292, fini. That was it for that stock. So now we'll have to wait to see what happens with Meta. I still don't want to go short. I actually wouldn't mind going long through 295 if we break VWAP. So that's the next trade for me. Let's just stay calm, cool, and collected right now. And like I said, man, I think that's the best way to trade when you're completely in charge of everything and you've got your price levels, you're not FOMOing anything, and you're just chilling, stone cold chilling right now on the market, which is what we're trying to do here. We're still going to be making lots of trades, but for right now, I've got Apple long, short, AMD long. So Apple's 40 cents in the money short right here, and AMD is 30 cents in the money long. Oh no, it's going to crash again.
Oh,
it did not.
No, it's not. You can tell when it's going to crash.
I thought it was. Like it was hanging there for a second.
Well, you got the cursor goes into the. If you see an hourglass in the P4 charts, like don't even worry.
I think if you see that anywhere,
you just might as well close it because it's probably going to crash.
Twitter is threatening to sue Meta. Yeah, good one on that.
So I know I'm short Micron, and you just mentioned AMD. We haven't really talked about Nvidia. So I have another I'm annoyed at myself trade because. And actually, someone said, Neil, if you'd held on to your Nvidia from earlier, the short would have worked. I'm like, yes, but then I would have held it past my stop, right? So then, no. So I did have the short initially, like this lower high here. It ran my stop. I don't want this breaking out. Like 420 was the bigger level anyways. So yeah, I don't know why I'm missing data from 1127 to 1157, but it did get down to 415. That was kind of our second target in there, 16 then 15. It doesn't matter. Now 420 is the other way. As long as this is above 420, I think you're looking for longs on the stock. That's generally been how it's gone on Nvidia, quite frankly. And yes, I am saying that a lot. I try to say it at least 24 times when we're going to have Frank on the show. So quite frankly, above 420 has been a rocket ship. How many times it bounced off this level and run? Like give me, like these are not, that's $10 moves when it bounces off this level. That's $6, that's $10. Underneath it, what does it do? Oh, does it give you a tank? Okay, well it tanked $20 that time. The next day when it rejected it here, it gave you $13, whatever it worked out being. Underneath here was about like 10. Today not as big, but it still was about $5 to the downside. So suffice to say that's a pretty key level. And if it's hanging out above it, I'm not trying to short it above 420. I am short Micron. That could come out. Let me just go over to that because that is starting to come back into play to the upside. Micron held when everything was recovering. Micron lower highs, holding out at VWAP. I got one fill at 60.71 on the short here in the mid 80s, and it's starting to come right back to the upside. That bids to the low of the day. I'm looking to reload in front of 61 even, but there's only so much you can fight. If we really just want to break out from here, this takes out like 61.10. Let's just get out of Dodge. If I do reverse into the long, I feel like it should be an Nvidia, not trying to pick and choose something else after looking at that 420 level. But I'm not completely convinced. If we take down 15.2, you could be right back at the low of the day. And as I said, we're in a consolidation phase in the NASDAQ. So I don't want to be forcing trades at this particular time. Nvidia, probably decent. If it does an under over, like it tries to break 420 and does a false breakdown, then I'll take the long. Like that, I love that kind of a setup. Like if it holds it one more time by running some stops underneath, that's usually a pretty bullish sign. So if it breaks 420 downside and immediately comes back up, that's an entry point for me. Otherwise, let's see what we do here in the next 10, 15 minutes. It's just giving you a consolidation setup.
All right, I see everyone talking about Mullen. I want to say shout out to you, Adam Deleuze. The guy never loses because Deleuze. It's
hard to lose.
It's hard to lose when you're Deleuze. But I just want to say to everybody that he's like, oh, nice. Max and Pratt were talking about Mullen yesterday at 15 cents or whatever. And I just want everyone to remember that we don't, on a prop floor, we don't hold anything overnight. So if you ever do hear Neil, myself, anybody here at Trader TV Live that happens to come on. And, well, any trader like us, we have some guests on might talk about, like I think Michael Nas talks about swing trades and things like that. And Neil and I, and everybody will be more specific if we're talking about, you all right there, Sharif? If we're talking about anything as far as positioning and stuff like that, generally speaking, I'm just glad he didn't wipe out. I mean, we have literally 2 steps here to get. I don't know if he was trying to jump or what. I know every day is leg day, yeah. So right there, so he just missed. Well, he didn't miss. It was a good jump, wasn't it? He almost fell. I just kind of heard a little.
It was. Let's look.
I heard like a temporary quad.
He came way too close to falling. Way too close.
All right. Well, he didn't. So good. That's good.
No, he didn't fall.
But what I was getting at was just that we are on a prop floor, so you got to make sure that when we're talking about trades, we do have to close them at 4 o'clock or somewhere around there.
That said, I mean, holding something like a Mullen in general terms,
genius.
It's not exactly. The most secure company in the world. Is that the best way to put it?
Funding secured, though. Today is 25 more million being bought back.
It's
up 40% today.
It is shorts covering.
Yes, and oh, by the way,
10 cents to reverse split to 10 cents. Where else is it? If you're short the stock, if a hedge fund is short this stock, what exactly else are they looking for?
I can't show you the stairs. I don't know how to show you guys the stairs.
I don't know if we have a shot for this.
If you can imagine what 2 steps look like, that's what the stairs look like.
You should be able to.
As you can see, you can see there's Parsa over my left there. You can see that we're elevated because it's on the stage. So we want to be higher than the trading floor behind us, which is a ghost town right now.
We have a safety lip there, so our chairs we can't actually fall over.
Yeah, we can't roll back over. That was a very good feature there. Randy's so smart. So that was good. But anyways, I just want to talk about Mullen. Mullen's now under V. I mean, hey, what's up? I started this with Mullen. So Mullen is now under VWAP. I don't like that story, but yesterday, if you see, VWAP is right here yesterday. It stayed above it the whole day, right? And then obviously it gets all screwed up at the close. And then basically, since Mullen started doing volume, you could probably just anchor it to the open, which is that's not the open. That's yesterday at 4 o'clock. But if you go back to like 7:30 or so, we were well above it. Then right there at 10 o'clock, we broke below, and we've never been able to recover on that from 28 cents. So, whether or not you're as CMT. Whether or not you're just looking at charts, whether or not you use VWAP at all anyways, you are now underneath. So not a great sign there to be underneath VWAP, but it's a good opportunity for those. And again, this is not like a big hedge fund name or anything like that. But if someone was trying to buy shares below VWAP, this would be a good opportunity, but I don't think anybody's doing that on Mullen anyways. They probably don't have daily goals like that. But watch out for 21 there trying to break. I mean, I think that's going to take a big move. Today, I just saw someone in the chat say, volume on Mullen is not normal today. Checks volume, 1.64 billion shares.
Yeah, seems pretty normal.
Seems pretty normal on that. So I just heard Brankles over there talk about 2.1 billion on. Yeah. That's on Mullen you're talking about? No, I don't think so, because I think WorldCom might have done more. We'll check. You guys can check too, but thanks for that, Brankles. There's the stairs.
Yeah.
Right there. So it's literally one step. Hey, thanks for getting that. That was really quick.
You shouldn't really trip on that.
Parsa, can you go do a demonstration
Unless
on
you're
those stairs,
rushing.
please? Can you just do a demonstration on those stairs? Okay, so here comes Parsa. So just to give everyone an idea, 1 step, 2 step. Thank you, Parsa, for that.
That
one.
was textbook.
There it is. Let's go. Oh
And
my
he goes
God.
backwards too.
That was awesome. Parsa's
Well
going
job.
up and
Good job, Parsa.
give this guy a raise.
I mean,
that was a great. And thank you for asking
graduated right now.
about that. You are right, man. Maybe it does deserve some yellow tape for cautionary tape on there.
I mean, maybe to avoid a lawsuit or something.
Yeah,
because
don't ever show that again in case the workplace safety insurance
apparently
board.
it's too hard.
Yeah. Don't worry, WSIB. We're going to get that all figured out. The workplace safety and insurance board. You see how I know that off by heart? So let's just, we are getting the yellow tape.
No, we're not. I'm not even sure it was Randy that did it. But anyways, yeah, just one thing on Mullen.
We're not getting the yellow tape.
We're not getting yellow tape. Yellow cake maybe, but definitely not the yellow tape. So if 25 breaks, I'm holding on. Only place I wanted to long today outside of the breakout was that 20 level. We kind of talked about 20 being the bounce zone, so it literally bounced off 20 and then gave you a 21 long. And it's kind of holding higher lows at least for now. All things can come to an end, definitely at some point. Just going to go quickly over to this silly thing, which is trying to go above VWAP. If we break VWAP, I think you can get to like 65, 70 on Peloton. Another stock that, despite being long, I don't really think that much of the company, quite frankly, but SSR bounces are what they are. This stock is setting up for something interesting if it gets underneath 7. It's trending to the downside. You can see, like if 7.5 breaks, this stock is probably a little bit of toast. But for now, SSR break, looking for VWAP to get taken out. So you'll see me trying to cover that one. And I want a little bit more. If we roll over under VWAP, Micron, I'm just going to keep taking the shots at this. Was able to add underneath VWAP here. We'll try and rinse and repeat this. This is like one of the few shorts that's still holding out. But this market wants to go. This is probably going to take VWAP too.
All right, that was for you, Michael, there. You mentioned Bogdanov wanting to call us there, so he did, but I had to hang him up because I got more important things on my mind. All right, so right there, we got a nice little move right there. Let's go the bull ride here. I don't know what I'm doing in that, but we'll just slap a fail on that bull ride. But I like it because we just rode it right back up there on AMD. So what's up to Daryl? I hope you covered. I wasn't sure if you did or not, but there it is, a nice move. And I don't want to celebrate because I know that you are short this name, but hopefully you did cover, and both of us can make a little bit of money. There's 113, never came into jeopardy, and then there's the move right back up into 60s now. So wow, that's a good one for us right now. And the thing about it is, we always talk about trading relative strength versus weakness, right? Look at AMD right now. Or sorry, on Apple. We just looked at AMD. Apple right now. This is why I'm short all day on this name. And it's not relatively weak percentage-wise in the market. It's actually up. The market's down 0.9 or so. Oh, wow, okay, 0.9 exactly right there. But Apple has really not made any moves. Like you saw AMD moving up there, right? Apple is having, I mean, the market's also having a problem, but it's like, it's not heading higher here. So as the market's trying to make this little move higher, I've just been sort of scalping out around this, now it's starting to go, of course, around this 191 right here. It hasn't really blown up. So what I was actually thinking was, normally when we see something like this, disparage between Apple and the NASDAQ, we normally take it the other way. Fabian's testing out the fall there, I think. You can see to the downside right there. We'll wait to see what Apple has in store for us at some point here. I feel like it could start to go back up to the upside. We'll wait on that. AMD just took out 60. That's a good one. Intel just chilling out. Let's find another trade for everybody.
Here comes AI.
Oh, yeah, C3 AI. Okay, let's, are you short this one yet? I know. Did you have to pay for shorts?
Oh, that's a very good...
I'm not sure, because AI right there just starting to ramp up a little bit. You do have to? Okay, so I'm not trying to go short anyways, but I do know that it was right into this level, which I've looked at before.
The breakout's at 40.50.
That's it.
Now it might break out anyway, so if I was going to short it, I probably would have already taken it. I'm not gonna. I didn't realize it wasn't free, to be honest with you. So
40.50. I think we got a punch long there.
It's not free, but the 40.50 is a punch long anyway. So yeah, saved by the fact that they're not free locates before that happens. So I got to get over to Lucid quickly because Lucid broke out at 7. I had the short underneath at a 98 short. I just got out when it broke.
Oh, what the? I
tried
it again.
I went to reverse and I didn't get it. So maybe we pull back in and pick me up at 1s and 2s.
40.
Really should have just reversed that one. The other name that's at high, so Lucid breaking out down 5%, but breaking out at 7. Rivian is breaking out the top I want to say yesterday's high was like 21.25.
21 flat, pretty much. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but so it's breaking out. This is actually a little bit stronger than Lucid. Okay, fine. We had I got out of Rivian a long time ago when it couldn't take out. It trailed me out here at 2060 off the 20 long. It was actually 1975 long. So this is more like a re-entry we're trying to get here. But 21.20 was, I think, that local high from yesterday. Okay, there you go. Pre-market levels, yeah, 21.20. That's a bunch of dark pool nonsense. So 21.20 feels like it is the breakout right here. Do you nibble in and then work it back to 21? The consolidation's a better play, but this is a party that I don't want to completely miss. So I think I'll just kind of wet the beacon here. I like Lucid as well at $7, but Rivian breaking out this double top. Like on the daily, look at this thing if it can get through 22. Like I don't want to, if it goes to 22, I don't want to wait till 22 to be long the stock. I feel like that would be a bit of a waste. I'm going to wet the beak up here. I'm going to work it back into 2090 at least. So I think 21's much better fills if we even get them. If I pick up 701s on Lucid, I'll let you guys know, but that might have just gotten away from me. But I'm really only looking long. As long as you're holding that original consolidation on Rivian, until it gets to 22, I think it's a long. And then C3AI, still no break. Okay, well, if I paid for locates and you're short in between 40 and 40, 50, you're like maybe 20 cents in the money, but I don't want to pay for the locates here. I think the breakout could just be the bigger play anyways.
I want to get short something like ASAP. Let's look at Google right now, just real quick. I mean, I don't want to get FOMO here because nothing's happening. You know, I am obviously, I want to stay short Apple, and we're still short Apple, and it's 30 cents in the money, and it's fine. But I don't know, man. I mean, it was a big move down there today. We got the meta news already. It just made highs at 3 bills. Generally, you get pullbacks when this happens. We saw Apple hit that 193 and change and then pulled back as well. That was that $1 trillion mark, $3 trillion mark as well for Apple. So some pullbacks happening in the market, sort of. Not really, though. It's just in the name. So I was thinking that this market could pull in again. You're still only down 0.9. We were down a lot more, and then that bounce at 15.1, right? So right now, I'm just looking at this top of 15.240, and I just want to go short until it breaks that. That's really what I'm looking at. So we're not super excited about getting into something right away, but I do feel like if it does break down, I only have Apple right now, and that's. I mean, we have Intel, but that's only a dime in the money. So I was looking at this Google trade. I mean.
Where is it? Oh, never mind.
It's right here. Like, this is fine to go short, isn't it? You're above VWAP here, but you are touched the highs already, trying to make moves down. It's much more. It's almost double the market. And I'm just trying to talk myself into it, which is never really a good sign. But you know, I want to get something short. Let's put a starter. I just tried to get, okay, now I'd have to punch, see? I just forced myself to punch 95s there because I put a 96 in it, 97, sorry, and it ran away. Give me those 97s right now. There it is. So now we're short at 97 there. So, all right, so that's good. So we're short at 96.50 here. Again, could be completely wrong. I don't know if we love this trade because of where the market is. But if Google can hold out from this 120.20, I think taking 25 cents worth of risk right now is worth it for a downside push. I mean, we just need to get back here, and that's going to be 1-to-1. That's 30 cents. Give it 30 cents to the upside. I like that trade. I think Google has the ability to fall down. But again, this market, we're not averaging in anymore, man, until we get a lot closer to up here because we don't want to be that wrong. Like if I put on a full default rate now, we have about half of what I'm looking for. So if I put on another half right now, then my average price is bad. But if we could just wait for a little bit of a move up, because again, if the market was tanking, I'd go all in right now. But the thing is that we still want to see this break, hold or break, 15.240. So let's see if Google wants to squeeze us to the upside, fine. We'll let it do that. So it's trying to do that right now. I mean, we're out 6 cents. It's fine. But we're going to wait for a little bit more. Maybe start it up at around 10. You know, get a little bit more and then watch out for that high, whatever that is, 15, 16s. We'll give it to 20 at least.
So we finally broke VWAP on Peloton. As I said, I'm not endorsing the company at all, but it is. I'm riding the trend to the upside. In this market, SSR breakdowns the last couple of weeks have been pretty good if you catch a bid right at that 10% mark, which is that's all that happened here. We've missed a couple of good ones last couple of weeks. This one pretty much to the penny held that SSR level at 740. It broke it by 1 cent and then came right back above. It's back above VWAP. I like 70s out. If we can get 770, I'm going to get an order out in front of that as well. That's this consolidation here. Rivian late to the party because 21 would have been better, but yesterday's high was at 21.20. We got 24s. It just printed 40s and got to 44 as a high. I'm going to go dip buy hunting in front of 21 if this comes back. This is a churn to 22. That's the level here, so we'll see if it can end up working out. Every time I was about to get filled on Micron, and then it missed me by 1 cent, it's right back into VWAP. So like every time I get into this thing, it's just I'm getting in at a higher price, and I'm being very lazy, not lazy, I'm just being very greedy in terms of trying to take profit. Like I want the low of the day instead of just taking the scalp win. But the market might be too strong for that on Micron.
What the fuck?
And I might need to accept that. Nothing's happening in Mullen, quite frankly. I still have the 21 long. It's going sideways. Either it breaks 25 or comes right back in to test 21 even. Not much else to see. Mark just said review DWAC. This is probably going to be a pretty quick review. DWAC's not really moving. It's down 7%. This would be a candidate for if it had gone 10% to the downside, but I don't think it quite got there. That would have been nice. And ROIV is halted to the upside. Okay, Roy Vance halted. You are correct.
You win.
What do we got here? Alrighty then, that is very random, and I'm going to make the assumption that there's a story I don't know about as to why. Because the stock is literally not doing anything.
I'll check.
And then just broke out here, and yeah, it's on the NASDAQ ROIV, and halted up. 1073 it halted at. Theoretical, the auction price is indicating an open at 1150. So right now it's saying we will open at 1150, which would be rather nice if you happen to be long. So usually when you see the stock doing absolutely nothing and it breaks like that, it would be on news, but I have not seen anything. You didn't find anything either, so.
No.
Yeah, well, if we find the news here, you guys let us know. I only brought it up because you guys mentioned it here. We do have our favorite guest who is locked and loaded and ready to go. So let's go to the desk for a little Frank Caberna.
All right, guys, it's time for Frank Caberna, Senior Content Strategist at IG. Frank, thanks for coming back on. We're going to talk some yield inversion today. Very important concept, especially with respect to predicting recessions, which it's been good at doing. I'll let you lead in. But first, for our viewers who don't know too much about the subject, what is a yield inversion? What does it mean? And what should a healthy yield curve look like?
Absolutely, and thanks for having me on here today. As the yield curve inversion is becoming a weekly tracker here, Frank, on Trader TV. But it is very important. Let's actually start out with that definition for those of you at home who don't know what an inversion is. It is when long-term interest rates are lower than short-term interest rates, and that can happen in a high interest rate environment or a low interest rate environment. Essentially, what we're seeing right now is short-term interest rates have skyrocketed up to 5% plus. We'll see where the Fed stops as the central bank changes short-term interest rates, and they've hiked them from 0% to north of 5%. And longer-term rates have stayed, closer to 3, 4, 5%. Thus, the inversion, short-term rates climbing higher than longer-term rates. And a normal, healthy curve is increasing in interest rates as you increase in duration, linear to the upside in that way. And we're not seeing that normal healthy curve, which is setting a lot of people off, as past inversions have occurred around 2000 before the dot-com bubble burst and around the 08 financial crisis. So a little bit of a predictor of past crises, if you will, or is it just coinciding with them and the economy just couldn't deal with the rising interest rates? That is really the big question for us here in the future, because we are inverted. Not only are we inverted, but inverted by 100 basis points, which, we bring in a little bit more context. And you see that in the last 30 years, we have not seen an inversion to this magnitude. But that being said, we've been inverted for over a year now. And yes, it's a big headline, the largest inversion in 30 plus years, but it's happening for very practical reasons if you bring up just our next piece here, you'll see that, exactly what I just laid out verbally, short-term rates have climbed higher than longer-term rates, and the 2-year and 10-year tend to be the benchmarks for this. 2-year rates have skyrocketed, and 10-year rates have increased as well, but just not to as great a degree, as short-term rates can be more volatile. And this all makes sense, right? The inflation that we've been seeing has spraying the central bank to hike interest rates. They change short-term interest rates. And so those short-term rates have risen quite far, whereas inflation, if it is transitory, it's only expected to be around for a year or two, and I'm the 10-year interest rate, why would I climb as much if the idea is inflation's around for a year or two, short-term rates hike, and then hopefully normalize lower, the longer-term rates not necessarily skyrocketing to 7 or 8%, which would be proportionate. And so this is all to say very normal reasons for why we got here, but not a very normal curve, and it's been putting some people off, as historically we've seen these inversions correlate to a down stock market, but not in 2023.
And what does this mean for the consumer? So what do banks typically take advantage of when we do have this inversion? Do they tend to typically charge higher rates of interest for short-term lending? What does a consumer stand to benefit or not benefit from this kind of situation?
Well, yeah, I mean, short-term money is harder to come by. And that makes sense. It's all cohesive, right? Like, why are we seeing short-term interest rates climb? Well, it's because we're seeing inflation. And so the Fed is trying to make short-term money harder to access, trying to slow down that economy. And so if you have cash, you have money, this thing that is harder to come by because now it costs you 5% if you just want to, borrow for the next year here. If you have that cash and you want to put it into what is one of the safest investments, which is U.S. Treasuries here, you're getting a really high interest rate, historically speaking, to lock that money up for a 6-month basis or a 1-month basis. And so to the consumer, the investor, that is something to potentially look at least diversifying a little bit, whereas in the past, it maybe didn't make too much sense to forego stock investment that obviously has been doing well over the course of the last 10 years to get a paltry, 50 basis points or 100 basis points. So as good a time as any in the last decade to diversify among stocks and bonds, but also, to diversify your trading in general. Whenever interest rates climb like this, it makes waves in all asset classes, stocks, Forex, and everything. And you're seeing greater volatility in those asset classes as well. I mean, as we're going to see here, the last non-farm payrolls making huge waves in interest rates, stocks, and beyond. And that wasn't the case when interest rates were zero. And yeah, we have the number that's due tomorrow at 225,000. The last number you'll remember was expected at around the same clip there, and they almost doubled it. And you saw a coinciding effect of interest rates moving higher and actually stocks moving higher as well. And so with this heightened interest rate environment, these numbers become more and more relevant. So of course, it affects the everyday person in so many different ways, hopefully doing its intended effect, which is reducing that inflation, making prices at the grocery store and whatever retail shop and the gas station more palatable for us. But also it heightens volatility, heightens activity around numbers like we have tomorrow.
Yeah, and the Fed today, the market reacting, I believe, to a new assessment in the Fed rate tool that we may actually have a second rate hike now in November. What does the job market from a fundamental perspective have on the Fed's decision with respect to whether or not we get 1 or 2 more rate hikes, Frank?
Well, yeah, the job number is being currently digested as an inflationary metric. And so if this value comes in higher than expected, that could be translated as reason for more interest rate hikes, with the idea being if there's greater job growth, then money is still flying around. We're still seeing this inflation. Interest rates need to be higher. But what's been interesting, interest rates over the course of the last year and a half have been negatively correlated to the stock market. Higher rates, lower stocks we've been seeing. In the last couple of months, in the last non-farm payrolls specifically, we saw the S&P 500 actually make new year-to-date highs on a higher than expected non-farm payrolls. So it's going to be really interesting to see as now, yes, the expectation is interest rates will move higher from where they are, maybe 1 or 2 hikes. And we'll see. I mean, that stuff changes all the time. Could be hikes in 2024 start to price in, but we're no longer seeing this, directly negative correlation between interest rates and stocks. For the time being, good numbers, higher than expected employment, higher than expected GDP, while it is driving inflation higher and interest rate projections higher, it's been driving the stock market higher for the last couple of months here. So if we get a higher than expected number tomorrow, maybe we get rates and stocks moving higher. That was the June number, at least.
And that's been the kind of the approach the Fed has been trying to take. They've been trying to get that soft landing here with the problem of having the lagging effects of the rate hikes. You're never quite sure when they're going to kick in. How do you see them navigating the rest of the year, Frank, even with respect to tone? Because last time, they talked about the hawkish pause, so to speak.
Yeah, it's been a really nimble act. And honestly, I think they've been doing a pretty solid job of it. Inflation it's still relatively speaking high, but it is, that's relative to the last several years. But relative to the last 12 months, it's been edging lower and lower. The stock market has recovered a lot of its losses from last year, and that's with interest rates still at their highs and potentially moving higher. So for the time being, they're striking the right tone to essentially quell all of these different asset pools here. And you're also seeing US dollar and Forex markets back to the middle of their ranges, not necessarily at the big extremes that we saw at the end of 2022. So again, if this number, I would tend to think that this number might be higher than expected, just given historical action. The expectation at 225, that's the second lowest number that we've gotten in the last year. But with that being said, the Fed right now talking about how they're open to 2 or more rate hikes, and the stock market's digesting it kind of okay. And so for the time being, everyone is feeling pretty comfortable with that. I wouldn't be surprised if we get that higher than expected number, we rate hike here in July. The Fed could easily start to talk about the 6 handle in interest rates. We'll see how the stock market takes that. But yeah, Fed Chair Powell has definitely left it open to higher for longer.
Yeah, data dependent is what he's been saying. Frank, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you this. Somebody in the chat wanted me to get your take on regional banks this morning. I hate to put you on the spot. If you don't have a take, that's obviously fine. But what's your outlook on that?
Yeah, I think, of course, I don't know, and this might sound like, how the hell would Frank get away with saying something like this? I don't know anything about regional banks, okay? Like, I don't know anything about their books, how many different banks are in trouble with the fact that they're, getting burned by all the money they have locked up at lower interest rates for longer, and how they've been getting in trouble with the duration on their books. I have a very just novice level reading of all of that stuff. But what I will say is that it's really tough to bet against the stock market. Right. And when I see a major sector of the stock market that's off by 20, 30%, and even though the news stories are still coming out, they're coming out to a much lesser degree than they were in March. I tend to be on the side of, in the long term, the stock market tends to recover from any of these crises. And I guess I'm a contrarian in that way. But I'm a math guy. I'm a data dependent guy. And if you look at almost any occurrence in the last 20 years of a sector of the stock market at large, or the stock market at large falling because of something like this, 20, 30%, it tends to bounce back, especially when you're talking about a diversified pool. Now, if you're trying to pick up one or two of these single stocks, that freaks me out a little bit more.
Right.
But we've seen the bounce back effect. It's why buy the dip is such a joke a lot of times online. But I mean, it's a tried and true strategy, my friend.
Yep. Frank, love having you on. Thanks for coming on. Frank Caberna, Senior Content Strategist at IG. See you later, Frank.
Thanks so much.
That's what I love. One of the things I love about Frank, quite frankly, one of the best things about the show is you've got to be able to say, okay, this is what I know, this is what I don't know. Like, I don't know anything about the regional banks' balance sheets, either myself. But quite frankly, that's about 17 times today. I'll get to 24 at some point. You just have to know where your level of expertise is. And he is right about the whole, usually a crisis is an opportunity to buy.
Yeah,
Timing it's just near impossible. That's why we've heard us mention like something like KRE, where you're looking at least if you're like, let's just say you were dollar cost averaging into the regional bank ETF. You're not having to pick a winner. You're not having to time the market because you're dollar cost averaging into it, say like once a month in the midst of the crisis, and you're trying to hold for the long run. So that's the reason we say those kinds of things for the long term. Now we're trading here. That's obviously a bit of a different story. I can tell you a few things have happened. One, Micron. I'm now not short anything because that obviously means that Micron stopped out. Cry 2 tears in a bucket. What can you do? Nvidia broke 421. I didn't get the break of the level. Didn't really get the fail break at 420. It was very briefly under 420 and snapped back up really quickly. That was a great entry if you caught it. I got this little consolidation 421.50. I'm looking for somewhere to add. I want outs in front of 23.5 and then 425. I think it's got a lot of room to go. Still in that Rivian long somehow that wants to hold up there. The other name that might be slowing down, and I just got to have some concern over that, is Peloton could be creeping back into VWAP. There was a halt on Kronos. All I could find is potentially exploring sale. That was a rumor that they're potentially exploring sale. It halted up. It's already come back into $2. As fast as I could when it was up there, I was trying to get, it doesn't matter now, I was trying to get CGC short because I saw that pop like 10%, but we didn't have free locates on it. By the time I got the free locates, this was already coming back in. To me, that was like the easiest fade of all time, but you have to be really fast. So I was not quick enough to pay for the locate. It's really fast in our system to get them. I just wasn't quite fast enough to be able to get the short. I don't know if there's going to be a trade there. I kind of hope it pops again. Then I can use the shorts that I paid for to actually make the trade that I just missed on CGC.
All right, we have a little bit of a problem here. All right, attention, Meta. Oh, man. So the stock that we were red on here, where it looks like we're going to add to that, it did break 295. And we did, right when Frank was on, like right when he basically at 50 or so. It broke upside there. The market kind of did break up as well. I just want to be in this name until basically 293.50, I think I put out. Then we'll get out of like half if it breaks down below there. And then that really bottom there is 292.80. We've already gotten out on some moves to the downside. I'd hate to get stopped out again, but it is a little bit of a dangerous game here that we're playing on Meta, especially because it's a $300 stock, and I'm not necessarily using small shares. So I want to be careful with what I'm trying to do here. And it looks like it could dump down again, right? And so we just have to watch out for this because look at the NASDAQ. It's starting to go up and Meta's not really following it. So that's, again, going to be a little bit of a problem for yours truly here because we're trying to watch a name that has the potential to go, but it still has to go. So potential is one thing. Victor Wembanyama. I think he's going to be okay. You gotta have good to great on that one. But I want to get, just in case we rip up there, let's get something out in the 40s. We'll try to get out 10% just to see if we can make it back a little bit. Then if we can keep on reloading down here at 94, we would do that. But maybe we just saw the high there at 95. It hit VWAP. I mean, we could have just gone short on that. I mean, it was flat on the day, so I feel like it was relatively strong. We've battled back nicely. We're above VWAP. We're above everything. I'm fine with this trade. It's just that getting long. That's why my average price is 50. We go there and there, 95, then 94, giving us that middle. Like if I was long at 94, I wouldn't be as panicky right now because then we'd have 95 sort of as our out. Then we know we could risk $1 down here to 93. But the risk to reward really for me right now isn't properly set up. So let's just wait. You got to be patient. We got to give breathing room. Someone on the chat was like, give some breathing room. I don't know if you meant that to us to take a breath or let the stock actually work. And
let it simmer.
That's what we're trying to do. So that's what I'm trying to do. AMD is simmering nicely for sure. That's been on a nice little bull run, and we're still long on that. So we got out. We got out of the majority of this at 50. We saw that a couple times there, back and forth, and now we're starting to go a little bit higher here on AMD. So let's see if this one wants to work. Google is just hovering. You could see my average price is 17. We've been getting some out. This is the problem. Short Google, long Meta. I mean, that might not be a good recipe for success here. So maybe we'll win on one and lose on the other, which would suck because net, that's a flat trade. So, all right, let's see if it can work out. Let's go over to the desk with Sharif and happening now.
Hey guys, happening now, brought to you by Whoosy. Whoosy Holding Limited is a preferred choice for insurance giants due to its high quality user profile with about 66.2% of long-term insurance customers from higher tier cities and an average age of 33.9 years old, providing a dependable source for insurance companies. Shout out to the folks there at Whoosy. Let's see what's happening now. Microsoft making a nice move up as it benefited today from a Morgan Stanley upgrade to 415. It's been strong on the day. Apple looking to go green on this late market bounce, and this DOCN stock, 68 million share float, popping on the acquisition. Here's a look. Microsoft has been stronger-ish on the day with essentially a 343 high, right around 341.5 now, above that 338.25 close from yesterday. Apple trying to go green. There it goes green, up 0.05% on the day, above 91.5 right now. DOCN as well. This one hanging out at highs, trying to hold that $45 mark. There it is. DigitalOcean acquires PaperSource for $111 million cash, guys.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like a lot of times, like the whole standard story is if you buy somebody, if you make an acquisition, the stock's going down. But every now and then, the synergy, they love it and they buy the stock to the upside. So the market's trying to come back in here. I do have Nvidia. If it holds on to 420, fantastic. If it doesn't, then you know I'm going to get out underneath that 420 level. That's the line in the sand. That's what we definitely pick. Rivian's still holding. It hasn't breaking out the local high. I never got into Lucid, by the way. Like I got out when it broke 7, and then I put the bid at 01. I said I'd get 01s or 02s. Well, it bounced at 03, so I'm not long that name, as it just doesn't seem to want to pick me up. I got a nice little consolidation reload here in Rivian, but I took too many shares, so yeah, I got a bunch of them out. Now we have a comfortable amount. It's a bit of a keystroke error, but the stock was going up at the moment that I punched, so it's really not the end of the world. If it breaks out the high, 50, 75, 22 is the big level on the daily chart on Rivian. There was one other name I wanted to get to. I did mention that Kron and the weed stocks were all going up and came right back down after that halt. But Rory Alderton in the chat. I don't know if I've seen you in the chat before, so welcome. If it's not your first time, then apologies for not seeing you there before. Netflix is very close to getting to that 440 level. Remember what happened yesterday on Netflix? I know I remember because it looked pretty strong at the open and then got flummoxed, held 440 for a bounce point, flushed at 440, and now look at the 440 level. Well, look-de-loo. That big level, which was support to breakdown level, could be a resistance if we get there. The NASDAQ seemingly running out of steam a bit, but you know what? We're still kind of grinding higher. We're in an upward trend here, and I want to give it the respect that it's due. Netflix at 440, it's got to break out. This is the bottom that we had overnight, this 15.26 on the NASDAQ. We're getting very close. If that breaks out, I think you got to be favoring the longs. It feels like we're at a level that I should be trying to find shorts. Yet all I have is nothing to the south side. I have no shorts on when you're almost at a resistance point. 440 looks okay on Netflix. Well, I don't want to short it. It's just kind of crazy. Like I look back over at Micron, which stopped out. If this gets under VWAP, I know I like this one short, but I want it back underneath VWAP. Now that it's broken above, I want to see some confirmation that we're actually rejecting, and then I'll short underneath VWAP on Micron. That's the one I'm looking for in the other direction at this point. What was the stock? Cheryl asking what was the stock that Sharif was saying. It is DOCN, Digital Ocean, up 12%. I mean, it's just kind of hanging out at those highs. I don't know that I know enough here to, like, I don't know if I want to short this name or what to do with it, so I'm not trading it. As far as I'm concerned, if you're long it, you actually haven't gotten too much of a reason to get out. Like, you could just be trailing this like, ho-hum. Like, what are you scared of? Down into like 43.50? Like, this stock is on one. So I don't really have a play for DOCN except to say congratulations. Congratulations! Because I know there were people in the chat this morning that were like, DOCN, DOCN. And yeah, that was a bit of a missed opportunity. But you cannot trade everything. You can't see everything. Unless you're watching this show. You'll at least get exposed to everything that is moving, even if one of us doesn't trade it. You're going to get to see what's moving in the market today 100%. That's what we're all about here. So Rivian, I don't know, double tapping this 44 high. It doesn't seem to want to break out yet, but I want this breaking out that 2150 and then all systems go.
All right, there it is. Okay, good. All right, we just took a 70 out right there. So now we're cooking. Let's see what Meta just did right down there at the 50 period. It bought some 294s. We're good on this, man. We took a 50 out, a 70 out. Our average price was 50. We talked about that. Let's see if it goes to the upside. I mean, I still don't know. I mean, I don't have that ability to tell exactly where all these stocks are going at all times. But this is pretty good, man. There's our out. Actually, we wanted to get a 75 or something right there as an out, so that was pretty good. Let's see now if it wants to continue to climb. Because I was seeing Meta starting to go back up to the upside, I was sort of trying to get out a little bit more of Google, but then Google just fell back through. So the short on Google has been okay. We started at 10s, and you guys saw we got in here at 15s and 16s, and then we actually got some near 30. 30 was actually going to be our out, so we came within about 5 cents of getting stopped out. So now the fact that this has come back down, now a dime piece in the money, you guys all know that we like that. So those are always good ideas to get some out when that's in play. But
everyone likes a dime piece.
Exactly. So you take your dimes, then you walk away from it for now, and then you go find another one. That's how I'm doing it. TLRY right now, you know, we can talk about Tilray and some of these marijuana stocks. We can light up all our shares on fire if you want and do all that. But there it is right there, right? By the way, ain't nobody buying these stocks out. I mean, what's the point of that? You just let it go to zero and then just let them pay you to take everything off their hands, right? I mean, these stocks are absolutely worth nothing as they continue to go to the downside. I mean, how many reverse splits, how many everything do you need to see? I don't even want this chart to load up. Because what's going to happen if it does is you're going to see some ridiculous prices and compared to where we are right now. So good thing it's not loading, so thank God. You can see Tilray down here, absolutely smoked. Canopy, the same thing on the way, and no pun intended. I'm just there just to smoke. Like, these stocks are dead water right now. That CGC, I mean, Kron, yeah, you guys are investigating a buyout. Yeah, you probably should. Maybe you should have done this years ago. Kron as well, straight to the downside. This one's a little bit better. Hold on a second. Google is now cooking here. Actually, this is working out a hell of a lot better than I thought. I thought we'd be in trouble if Google went down, but no. Meta's holding up right now, up here. So let's take something. Let's offer some 60. Did I just punch out 60s there? No, I didn't get any fill. Oh, I did offer 60, but then it, okay. Didn't fill. So they're right there. With that spread, I thought I was crossing down and closing that spread there on Meta, but instead we didn't even get the fill. So hopefully that'll come back up. But look what's happening right now with Google. I was just talking about marijuana stocks there because honestly, man, it's just, that's been a real disappointment for anybody that's been invested there, and yours truly as well. Okay, there goes Meta. Yes, sir, let's go. Spin the money right now. Still got that Kodak Black song in my head. There goes Google. We just took an O fill there, 03, sorry, fill on that one, and then that cross down trade at 60 got filled as, sorry, 62, got filled as well right there on Meta. So now we'll wait. Hopefully we can pop back up. No more getting out of Meta, man. My next target, I still have to wait for this 298. I still think that that we could test some of those highs. You know, coming back in here and getting a 296.50 right now is probably going to be good. Like, we're just at 295. I don't know why I'm looking for the moon here on this, but you know, let's try it. Let's see if we can get something going here on Meta. I'm surprised at how kind of dead it's been today. We started the day up a couple percentage points. Now you're flat on the stock here, only 0.9. But let's give it a go here. Google's trying to break lower, so that's all good. AMD, we talked about having a very, very small amount of shares on for that, but it is now power hour, so get ready. We'll see if we can keep some of this money into the basket and go from there. Oh, shout out to Brankles in the back, by the way, because I Googled it, and I don't know. This goes back to 2000, so I started my journey here in 2002, so it couldn't be WorldCom. I've been trading now for 22 or 1 year, something like that. And here it is right here. This is from the Guinness Book of World Records. On February 11th, Vodafone, I should have hashtagged their symbol, right there, did 2.1 billion shares.
Yeah, well, it had to be the .com bubble.
Yeah, 2000.
Yeah, but I mean, WorldCom was the right guess.
This is like the EV bubble too.
Yeah, it had to be like the big cap name, because where you get volume like that is when a really big cap company goes all the way as far down as it can go,
like
and then suddenly it's like nearly a penny stock, and then suddenly it has so much so much interest that you can see that kind of volume. I'm Internet Capital Group.
So the question is, does Mullen break it today? So right now we're at. Let me check what Mullen is live.
It's running out of steam.
It is, and it's not going to.
It's not going to.
1.7 right now?
An hour ago, it seemed likely, but it's done what, 100 million in the last hour?
I think you forget about how much 2.1 billion is, maybe. But it's only 500 more million. Which sounds amazing.
Well, if a big close is what it's going to happen.
Yeah, and there needs to be quite an imbalance there, and I don't.
Speaking of a big close,
but you know, 500 million shares. That's only.
That's
only
a lot.
$100 million.
I know it's not a lot of notional value, but it needs to pick up. It's already 310, and the volume is not picking up. But so that 420 starting to come in. No pun intended. I'm back into Micron because that retook VWAP. So that was the short I wanted. To the downside, I had that 97 short, but Nvidia just wicked. There it is. Okay, Nvidia, you've just wicked 420 one more time. I don't want to chase it too far, but the last time it wicked underneath, I can't hit Control, and then scroll bar doesn't zoom in that way. So I'll do it that way. So it got underneath the last time by about 8 cents and then held the level. It just got underneath by about 5 cents and then bouncing. So I'm going to look to add in front. This time, I don't think I'll be ridiculously greedy. If it gets past 421, I should be taking something out. But yeah, this is going to be one of those. If we go downside, I know I like Micron relatively weak, but that 420 level on Nvidia is the line in the sand. We know we like that one to the long. While that was happening, Rivian, it touched 2150s or 2148, so very, very close to that 50 level, and rejected it. I got a little bit more out there. It's starting to run out of steam as well to the upside. So all these longs, they're starting to give them up a little bit. Everything that was looking strong, looking a little bit more weak, especially what's going on there in Nvidia. And if you see what's going on in Nvidia, you don't have to guess. That C3AI, guess I should have paid for the shorts. Because that was it. It never broke the high of the day, consolidated back under 40, now testing back underneath 30. 39.40 is the current bottom there. Tesla's going to the downside. What about Nikola meeting today? I mean, I don't.
What are they doing?
I don't know, there's some shareholder. I think there's like a shareholder meeting. I don't really know exactly what they're going to do.
Are they all pushing it down the hill? Like, is it multiple shareholders
There's supposed to be this battle between Trevor Milton actually in the board with regards to raising and diluting shares.
Right.
How else are they going to raise money so they can eventually get a product to scale? Like, I guess you have to. I'm not the expert here, but quite frankly, I haven't really looked into this one outside of the technicals. When it squeezes, I like it. Probably should have been short 150 today. That I will look back and ask myself, why, if it went to $1.50 2 days ago, went to $1.49 yesterday, and went to $1.49, what exactly are you looking for in a small cap stock? You could just put a stop at 150, get out at 51 or 52 if it breaks, and short the living you-know-what out of 147, 148. That is that's the trade. Like, that is one of the, if you look for penny stocks or small cap stocks, it doesn't get any easier than that. That was essentially what the $1 long was. Remember when the long at $1? This is it testing a buck. It goes right to $1. You go long at ones and twos. Your stop out's at $1. That was the exact same trade, but the other way at $1.50. So the only reason I would look at a Nikola is for those reasons. It's just, I don't know anything that's going on outside of the fact there is this battle about raising shares or not. So my guess is the board probably is right in terms of wanting to raise and the reasons you need to do so. Milton doesn't even, he owns like 7%, so I don't even know how much of a fight he's supposed to put up. Again, I'm not an expert on it. The guy owns 7% of the shares. I can't imagine he has that much influence anymore. But what the heck do I know?
Right, yeah, exactly. It's a good thing that 7%, yeah, Nikola especially, but I guess there's still a lot of shares outstanding there. All right, so yeah, Meta, it's a good thing that we got out, man. We only have, well, we still have 60% left, but, you know, Google's tanking, so the net's not changing that much, but, you know, the market has come down. And just a quick update there, we did get out of AMD. It broke below the 50 period rate there at 45, so that's where we got out. We actually got a 46 count. Now the market's starting to break down, so I don't want to be down for the count here, but, you know, Meta could be dripping just a little bit lower here out. Neil, if I told you that DeAndre Hopkins in our pool, no, he didn't sign with the Bills, don't worry. Although I think he will.
Why would you do that to me? You know.
If he got traded in our pool for George Pickens, what else do you think would have to be included in that deal?
Okay, so here's, because the two people involved, each one of them told me that this might happen. So I know it's straight up.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think if DeAndre
in a keeper pool,
I think if DeAndre Hopkins goes to the Bills or the Chiefs, then obviously he has a lot of upside. I think he's underrated if he goes to the Patriots. George Pickens has a lot of upside. But I read something about Pat Freiermuth that their tight end, who's like a second-year player going in his third year, he had more targets than Pickens in one less game. Meaning Pickens was like the number 3 option on his own team. So
I mean, I've got Freiermuth. So.
That's what you have Freiermuth. You have Najee Harris. They throw to the running backs a lot as well. So
and I have Deontay Johnson.
When you analyze it from that standpoint, and then figure that Hopkins probably has decent floor, it's not that bad.
I need to get Pickett, and then I have everybody.
It's not that bad of a trade. You have everybody on Pitt, like
I just don't have Pickett,
except for the quarterback,
which is probably good.
Which means you're basically long the quarterback anyway.
Najee's good, no?
You know my biggest beef as a trader? My biggest beef in fantasy football is when everybody is madly in love with all the weapons around a quarterback. Like, oh, I love the wide receiver 1. I love the wide receiver 2. I love the tight end. I love the line. I love the running back out of the backfield. But then they don't think the quarterback's going to have a big year.
Right.
I'm like, oh, so basically that's like saying, oh, my God, Nvidia is the best stock for the next 5 years. And I think that AMD is going to be great as well, but I wouldn't buy Soxel.
Well, remember, you can be, you
Doesn't
know,
make any sense.
Yeah, but there are some examples of where you get.
I know.
Yeah, because the quarterback
It just bugs me.
For fantasy reasons, the quarterback has to do other things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just, you know, especially in our league.
So for those of you that think Jameson Williams is going to have a big breakout year,
you got to have
well,
Goff.
then you shouldn't hate Goff. As far as I'm concerned. If you think Laporta, the rookie quarterback, is going to have a big season and then they're going to throw to Gibbs and get a bunch of yards and Amon Brown is really good, then how can you actually think Goff isn't a good QB2? It's just common sense. Like, that's how things work. This is also how things work. Rivian, you want the longs to work. It was breaking out. It was going. I still have a piece of this. But if you can't hold on, it does feel like we're coming back to the downside. And Momo, yeah, man, I like to anchor a team with a good tight end. So I do like the tight end position. That's why I always do the Kincaid spike. I see what you're trying to do there. But yeah, Rivian's starting to come back in here. I have one short. Quite frankly, I wish it had been more. That's now 18 times I've used that pun. But we got some 88s out there, reloaded at 97. I want the outs underneath this next consolidation. If the market falls from here, at least I know Rivian should. Not Rivian, Mullen. Micron should continue to tank. Mullen's doing absolutely nothing, as I said. I'm probably just going to have to get out of this in front of 25. You can see it barcoding. I don't really have much of the position left on this one, just hanging on to like 15% of my Mullen long at 21.
All right.
No, it's not a Gronk spike, Cameron Collins. I'm a Bills fan.
Yeah.
It's
well,
never
you're talking about Kincaid spike.
It's a Kincaid spike. I don't like Gronk.
No, I mean,
I don't like the Patriots.
New England.
I don't like the Patriots.
I
hate the Cowboys. I hate the Patriots. I don't like Washington. They beat us in the Super Bowl too.
I don't mind Washington.
I just don't like them because they beat us in the Super Bowl. That's it. I don't have any other reason to dislike the team. It's just that.
I mean, at least, you guys have won a couple Super Bowls, so it's fine.
You know, that was
that was unnecessary.
You say it every single time.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
unnecessary.
I'm
hoping to this year because honestly, they're the
you
closest.
had season tickets
I
with
know.
me to the Bills, so
But
why
the
do you throw
but
shade
it's like
on the Bills?
Leafs. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like the Bills, the Leafs, the Maple Leafs. They're all like a disgrace. It's like they have such great regular seasons. The Blue Jays throw them in there as well.
Go Argos.
It's like, yeah, isn't that pathetic? You can't even name the Argo quarterback.
Want to bet?
Because you're looking it up.
No. I didn't know his name. It's no, because I know it's Jim Kelly's son, but I didn't know his name.
Yeah.
Jim
Right.
Kelly's son is a quarterback on the Argos.
Right, so you didn't.
We were talking about. I didn't know his name, but I knew it was Kelly's son.
Yeah. You would have said Kelly.
No, I would have said Kelly,
Kelly, yeah.
but it's Chad
Yes,
Kelly.
I know, yeah.
And I
was actually watching it. He's pretty good.
got a cannon
Yes,
for
yes,
an arm.
yes.
For an arm, and he can run. Like, he's a pretty good athlete. I'm not actually sure why he didn't get much of a shake in the NFL because he's balling out in the CFL. We'll do this because at least this is going the upside. In a day where no longs are continuing to the upside, Peloton is breaking back out. It's an SSR bounce. It just got to 770. If you don't know what I mean by an SSR bounce, if a stock in the North American markets goes down more than 10%, it's short sell restricted, you need an uptick to hit the bid, oftentimes you get dead cat bounce. That's exactly what happened here. It wicked 1 penny underneath 10% and then started to hold that level. So all I did anyways, is you just go long in front. My stop was 2 or 3 cents worth of risk, depending on slippage, maybe 5, and now it's breaking out at VWAP. We've seen this happen at least a few times recently. So when stocks get beaten up and get beat down, you look for an SSR bounce, and sometimes you get it. What else is going on there?
Best CFL player ever, Dwayne Johnson.
Warren Moon,
The
not
Rock.
even close.
Well, of course, I'm just joking about The Rock.
He did. Who else? Doug Flutie was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think Warren Moon, I think.
Rocket
was it
Ishmael.
Namath? There's a bunch that were there. Oh, yeah, that's not Jim Kelly's son, it's his nephew.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah,
His
I wasn't
fam.
sure. When you were saying it, I wasn't sure, but someone in the chat just confirmed that as well. So, okay.
Pinball Clemens as well. That's another.
Yeah, Pinball Clemens is good, but the thing is so small.
The mayor.
Could never make it. The mayor. Was Mike Clemens a mayor? No, I don't think he was a mayor. It was something else.
I think he had the nickname because he always knew everybody.
Yeah, but he did run for something in the city.
He
of
ran for.
Toronto.
Didn't he
I'm
run for
pretty sure.
council?
Maybe it must have been something like that. But anyways, we
Anyways,
love
yeah.
Pinball Clemens.
Pinball's
Rahib Ishmael was very, very touted, but again, that's when like Wayne Gretzky and John Candy and all those guys were buying the Argos, and that's when there was pretty hype. But now it's just kind of like whatever. I would still want to go to an Argos game though, for sure.
What's
year.
crazy? It's like if
I
you go
was
to
there last
if you go to
year.
a Hamilton, it was like another local team here, Hamilton versus Toronto. It's a
Yeah.
Hamilton home game. More Hamilton fans than Toronto fans. That's
Yeah. Well, when you live in Hamilton.
how we are.
Okay, so
What the heck?
what?
Oh, never mind.
Rivian.
No.
All right, let's go back to trading. Yeah, I love
the heck
John Candy for sure. Yeah, rest in peace for sure. Okay, let's just go on to something else. So Google is making a move down. We're now 35 cents in the money. We just cleaned this up at the 200 period. This one is a great run for us today. So we'll go bang on that there. But if you haven't hit subscribe,
Hola, like and subscribe today.
hopefully Kat will be in tomorrow. Or else that's a pretty long, you didn't just noticing now, Neil?
No, I was just.
Yeah. So yeah, Neil, she's not here today. She only sits 5
What?
feet from us.
What?
But yeah, so either an extra long weekend or who knows, but I know she's not feeling that well. So we'll see. Hopefully she gets
Get
better.
better, please.
Yes, exactly. Get better. We don't want her here if she's not feeling well, that's for sure. So get better, Miss Kat, there as well. All right, so. All right,
Apple is
Google
strong
down.
right now.
Yeah, so Apple was a name that really got going. We actually wound up down on Apple today, just because some of these last couple short. I mean, this is fine. This last short's fine, but again, we got stopped out. That's 94s, out 50s. 40s, out 55. That's not that big of a hit. It's just too many stop outs there. Not taking them fully out. Today I was sort of expecting more of a dramatic move. Like that's why all the big losses that I seem to have on are shorts. I was really thinking that we were going to be going downside there. I mean, the number one stock for me, Redsville, today is Meta. And we've already talked about why that is. And it was so funny because it was great early. We were really doing well. And then that broke. that sort of put us into the red. We were just battling back off of that hit right there. And then all of a sudden this happened. Like if we don't do this and we're sort of hovering, then we're probably flat on the stock. And if we can break back above 295, then that will be a completely different story as well. So let's see if that can happen. We're going to dump this out at 293 break. So we've talked, just making sure, sorry, 293.50 break. We almost got out of that right there. So if that comes down, we'll get out of 75%, I believe. I'm just double checking. Yeah, and then we want to use this 292.50 area as our last out. So out of 75% if that breaks, which was pretty damn close. I just realized that right now. So this could be something to come into right now. 294, 294.13, maybe. Hopefully it can go on that. And then our Intel is kind of putting me to sleep, honestly. We've done really well on Intel today. Short, short, short all the way through, and now we'll wait for it as the NASDAQ still down 0.8 now today. So, yeah, no earnings or anything, right? Nothing coming. The banks.
No, there's one. Just no one cares about Levi's, but they report tonight. Or tomorrow morning. Levi's reports, no one cares.
Okay,
Sharif is on this because I just asked him. So he doesn't see anything on Win, but I saw in the chat someone said Win's moving. I'm like, yeah, it's moving. Not really sure what exactly is going on except for a nice technical break. It got through VWAP and it's starting to churn. Okay, I can't. Look at the daily chart on
I
Win.
own that stock.
Like this is, like look at that wick bottom into 90. I'm pulling it back far enough so you can see like the 200, since it held the 200 period, it's been on one. But if you look at that previous peak, like the previous peaks here at like 95 area, and then go right back when it was kind of consolidating off 95, then look at the clean bounce off 95 even. It rejected the 50 period moving average, which is still above the 200. If you start riding the 200 period moving average, now this hasn't happened yet, but if you start riding the 200 period moving average, then get a bit of a convergence between the 50 and the 200, nice consolidation, retake of the 50. When the 200's held, you look for the long, 200's your stop, and then bingo, bango, bongo, Win goes to 125 bucks. That kind of thing. Like it's setting up. It probably takes a few weeks to settle out, but that's definitely setting up for it. I guess I should have held on and had a bit more faith in Rivian. I got out of a bunch looking like it was going to break down. I still have a piece. I mean, I should probably just jump right back into this, but I don't want to be buying the high. So if it shows me a consolidation with enough time, fair enough. If we break out the top, I should get offers out into 22 because 22 is the top. At least I think it's the top. If this breaks out, I don't think it gets past 22. That's a big level on the daily. I should not have covered a bunch of that there in the middle of the range. That was inside of a 20-cent range. I should have just given it more room. That's 22 on said daily. But Rivian long, Peloton feels like it's running out of steam a little bit. And we just got 70s. I don't think it gets past this area here, like 75 to 80. So this one's starting to slow down a little bit as well. But it's been a good long off the bottom there. Want to hold on to this, want to hold on to Rivian. I'm thinking about whether I want to try another shot at Nvidia if it can hold at 420. It just doesn't want to break away from this price. So I tried the long as it was going. I'm like, yeah, this is it. We can get to 425. It does not. Now we're back underneath. I'm short Micron here, but that's going sideways. You said Intel's going sideways.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're all
Micron,
kinda...
it popped down, gave me 10 cents, goes right back into VWAP. It's like this is just gravitating back toward VWAP, and I should be respecting the fact that someone's buying this into VWAP every time it goes. So if I see this hug VWAP with buy strength tomorrow, maybe I'll start thinking long Micron.
All right, we'll flush ourselves. Yeah, I think AMD's been, that's why I put it today. I wasn't sure about that level there on AMD, just like I wasn't sure about Apple at 190. We'll have to check that out. Apparently, I'm not too sure about Meta either. I mean, Meta right now is starting to make that move to the downside, and we just got stopped out. So we just tried it at 80 again, then out at 50. Pretty good fill there, too. It broke. We got 46s there on the out. So we're going to have to wait on this, man. It is falling back down. I'm going to try to give this to that 293 right there, and then that bottom wick of 292.90 basically. I feel like that's like an exhaustion candle down there, so maybe there is some kind of a buyer or something at this level, so we'll try that. And then 292.50 or so as a break will be the end of Meta for me. So we'll try it, and again, you know, what is the worst stock for me just got a little bit worse, but the fact is we only had 60% left. We were able to get something out on the upside. We should have respected VWAP again right there, but it was that 295 break that got us in trouble because If we were just 294, that would have been much more reasonable, but because we had that, and we're just trying. We're trying to make some money there on that play. It just today and right now did not work out for us on Meta. So, yeah, that's...
1 minute till early look.
I don't think it has anything to do. Hey, what's up, Bob W? I mean, Twitter suing Meta. I mean, I was actually thinking about this last night when I was getting into threads and everything. And basically, Elon Musk bought Twitter for $56 billion. And then Mark Zuckerberg just released it for the cost of an app. I think that, you know, if they spent $1 billion or something on threads, I kind of would be surprised because it's literally just transfer everything from Instagram over to threads. And obviously they need to have, you know, the computing space. They need to have the cloud space and things like that to store for the app.
That's no problem for them.
I wouldn't think that's a problem. They've already got Facebook, WhatsApp. They're already storing all this data. So to me, then I thought about, okay, so then what about, you know, Elon getting pissed off and going to the regulators or something like that and talking about, you know, fair play and whatever the copywriting is and the idea behind Twitter. But then I also thought that didn't Google also do, Google tried something. What was it?
I forget.
Spaces? No, not Spaces.
No, there was, but this happens all the time. I don't remember the name.
Yeah, so I was just thinking like, Meta's not that dumb. I mean, I could, you know, I'm running myself into a problem here because maybe Meta is that dumb. But why, you know, I assume that they would have looked into the legal aspect and got some advice on that. Before,
and competition is good.
Right, before they launched the app. So for me, I'm not overly worried about any sort of...
I wouldn't be worried about legal action.
Legal action there?
Except that lawyers are going to get paid, which is good for them. I had a comment...
not MySpace. Oh, Google Plus.
I
mean, that lasted for a little while.
Not very long.
They were trying to do more Facebook, I think, type of stuff. But
very quickly here, this EDTX, which was halting earlier in the morning, has broken the high and halted again and just reopened, making some fresh highs here. I want to quickly double check the float for you guys. It is 3:30, so we should get the early look on the imbalances any second now. But this is where is my float? That can't be right. 255, oh, it's because I had a reverse split. 255,000 shares. So this is one of those reverse split specials. And then we're going to, I think this is now a setup in this market. So bear with me for a second. So I think there's a setup in the market right now where you have these companies that have gotten, you know, sort of beaten up a little bit, for lack of a better term. They go reverse split action. They come right back into the previous, the price they split at. And then they and if they consolidate there with this one did, like this is $11, it consolidates at $11.60 for a couple of days. Look at that little bottom. Play the breakout, then it goes to the moon. What else looks exactly and eerily similar to this? Mullen at 10 cents, reverse split, comes back, consolidates for 4 or 5 days at 10 cents, and then squeezes higher. So you guys have the job of reminding me, because I'm terrible about this, but if we see another stock do this, where you have a reverse split, it just goes all the way back to where it was, because that's how bad it is. It consolidates at the absolute bottom, or just above the price that it did the reverse split from, for about 4 or 5 days. Just take the next breakout, stop underneath the low, and then profits. It's just how many times you have to see the same pattern before you catch it and get the actual move. Because this EDTX, which by the way, I have absolutely no idea who they are or what they do, I don't really care. This break, that's a break today. You could have long at $13. You're stopped out at $11.50. You tell me, like that's $1.50 worth of risk. I'm not saying you hold it all the way, but where was the next big level on stock? $17? Well, that's probably worth the risk. You saw Mullen at 10 cents. You were long 11 cents on Mullen with a 10-cent stop. You know, that went pretty far as well. So I like that setup. It's completely technical, and there's nothing fundamental about it. It's just stock beaten up and then tries to run. This, once again, Micron back above VWAP, so I keep shorting this one at VWAP, and it just keeps on getting bought up. So I get one out, and then it starts to run. That's exactly what happened here. Didn't even get one that time we stopped out. I got one bid, and then we started to go. Still no early look on the imbalances. I haven't seen it on my Twitter feed. So
okay, well, that's all we have is a feed. So if anybody has anything, we're getting it from Financial Juice.
In the chat saying 334 buy imbalance.
Okay. I'll take that.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll believe that.
334.
334 to buy is what you guys are telling us. I don't see it on my feed, but we're all getting it from social media when they release those early looks.
Yeah, we don't have any sort of opportunity other than what you guys have as well. Meta's taking some money from me today, but we are on Threads. You guys can go find me right now. I just tweeted that. Look at the temperature out here in Toronto today. 30 degrees.
That's hot.
Feeling like 34 degrees. So 30 degrees Celsius is like 180 Fahrenheit. No, it's not. 30 degrees Celsius
like
is
it.
probably like
86.
90.
30 degrees, 1.8,
91?
54 plus 32, 86.
Is it exactly 86? Okay, so feeling like, it shows that feeling, anyways, we got a heat warning today, but there it is right now, 30. Follow me on Threads right now, 440 followers. You could be the 441. And I did follow everybody back that followed me off that sticky note tweet. If you do that as well, I'll follow you, not that that matters. But okay. Downside move for Google. Intel's not doing anything, and Meta's just chilling out right here, right now. So we got out at 290. It's basically the same price that we got out at. Thinking about buying back in, but let's just hold for that dream. No more offers. Maybe it does go to 300 at the close.
What? No,
I don't think so. Not today, unless something really hits pretty soon. So we're going to have to wait for that one. Just try to be as patient as we can be on this. It's 334. We did get a sell imbalance. Was that right? I know we were still waiting for it, but someone on the chat, was it a buy? It doesn't really matter. Let's see if we can find something else. Let's see if we can look for any new names today. Qualcomm. Okay, so it's a little bit late, but this is a good break. Like, I wish we would have saw this a little bit earlier, but you can't see everything. Qualcomm took out VWAP at 50. So look at this. This is kind of the trade that I'm always trying to find. And it's basically like this. You have, and that's what we did this is what we did on Meta, right? Meta was underneath VWAP the whole time. Then it finally breaks VWAP, and then some real nice upside move now for Meta. So, that's basically what we just did there, but we screwed it up. So we didn't screw it up. It didn't work out for us. So there's the break of Qualcomm back to 114.50. Could be a good play there as well if you are interested in Qualcomm. But that was the look right there, breaking above higher. And there's the same look on Meta, if you see what I was talking about. We weren't underneath all day, but basically since 11 o'clock, underneath, we took it out, and then it just goes no to that trade. So no to that, but yes to everything else. It gets taken out there, Meta, on VWAP, but that was a good break for Qualcomm, so that could be something if those of you were interested in that trade. That would be Qualcomm breaking a little bit higher. Meta just still doing absolutely nothing. Intel, okay, so Intel just came back to 32, so we did get that fill. What is the NASDAQ? The NASDAQ's above VWAP. Intel made a nice recovery today, so let's not give back what we've already made on Intel, so that won't be happening. My stop is 05. Mullen's going to. 05 stop right there, that high wick. We're going to stop out on Intel, but for now, it's a new short position. It's Intel.
I only know that Mullen is kind of semi-tanking because I got trailed out of it. So it just broke 22. There's no reloads to be had at 336, quite frankly. Maybe 20. That's 20 times I got to 20 with that pun today. So the 20 level, I think that's going to be something for tomorrow. We had a resistance yesterday, and then we actually bounced off 20 cents. So let's play that level. It was 10 cents that was the bottom. So if 20 wants to hold, that ain't rocket science. And when you're trading penny stocks, like sometimes the simplest trade is the best trade, like Nikola holding $1, this bouncing off 10, today bouncing off 20. If you can keep it that simple, the best thing about that trade is you usually don't have to worry about getting stubborn around your stop. Like if I decide I'm stopping out at $1 going long at 101, it's not as if I'm like going to get cute about it. Oh, I see 5 million shares on the bid. I'm not going to get out when that breaks. It's the same thing with the 20 cent level. Like you see a big level like that right at the most obvious price. A lot of times having that 1 cent worth of risk is a little easier to put it on. Peloton's starting to come back in. So I might not even worry about trailing this and just say, give me the fill right now, because we have 20 minutes to go. This was running out of steam anyways. Maybe I should just cross down and get out, because this is a good bounce, but it's an SSR bounce on a stock down 7%. If there's going to be something left that has a chance to run, I think Rivian's got a decent shot. It's at the high of the day. It's been churning. Probably too aggressive taking outs on the way back in, but it's trying to break out this top here. Still room to $22. If something's going to go, I feel this has a better chance. Everything else rolling over. Nvidia underneath 420. Man, that actually might be a short down there on Nvidia underneath 420.
Yeah, we went, well, you guys saw, we had to short an Intel there, and it actually worked out pretty good. We actually wound up getting some 93s and some 92s on the way out here. On the way down, we're short 98. Remember, we're getting about 7 cents worth of risk. I don't know if it's worth 1-to-1 right now. We'll wait to see if it can go a little bit lower, but now we're out. So we took out 40% actually for basically 1-to-1, like 0.8-to-1. We took out 5 cents when the risk was 7. So we're gonna wait to see. Hopefully it does fall back down in. And I was just honestly noticing this consolidation. Like I put some more bids. So I put a bid at 90 now, because that'd be nice. We'll take 8 cents. And then I put another bid right at the top of this. Not even at the top, 87, like in the middle. I don't know. I actually didn't even notice that this sort of barcoding action there. But there's the top that we didn't mind. We get a good fill there at the top. So hopefully that can hold out and be the top and not continue to go higher. All right, there's another fill for us. So that's a banger. Look, like, it's been a good day. It's fine. It's just I'm a little disappointed in Meta, because sort of thought that Meta had a little bit more in it today. Was really looking forward to it. But I think that the whole thing is that although we do have a great crystal ball, I want to thank Mr. D. Westermeyer for this crystal ball. But you know, you come in sort of expecting to have a big day in something.
I got a question for you.
Not net-wise, but just that that it would move a little bit more than it has.
My question for it is, will it break 300?
Well, you have to ask it.
Oh, yeah. Will Meta break 300 while I am here and on the desk? I'm going camping next week. So if it doesn't break tomorrow, but if it doesn't break tomorrow, or when I come back, either today, tomorrow, or after next week. So I just want to know if I'm going to be here.
I feel like that's too, because it will break when you're back.
But it could break next week. You don't think it breaks next week?
I do.
See, it's doing that thing again where I can't read it.
I think it breaks tomorrow.
Very doubtful. That means it is going to break next week. According to the Magic 8 Ball, Meta breaks 300.
I don't even remember really what you asked
next. I asked it whether or not it would break 300 while I am sitting here trading.
Got it.
So it's breaking next week. You heard it from the 8 Ball. Next week we get a 300 break on Meta.
Don't lie.
The 8 Ball does not lie. We'll see if that's actually ending up being true. Oh no, Rivian's wicking this top. Yeah, okay. So it just broke 50s. Now it's giving you a mini fail. It got to 57. If it can't hold on, got to take another leg out. It's 340 already, too. That's another thing. There's only 19 minutes left in the day, quite frankly. So that's 21 times I've now said that. So I don't know if we're going to get maybe one last pop if I think that 420 is going to hold on Nvidia, and then we look for a short off of that, maybe give it to 420.40. Outside of that, I'm just holding on to Rivian because that's actually decided to work. Peloton's actually should have been in reverse. That EDTX that halted to the upside.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
I mean, if it had to reverse split and then immediately did that, is it worth this? I mean, probably not. But if this is sniffing $35 to $40 tomorrow, I'm paying for locates. I wouldn't pay for them now because there's no time in the day, but this is a little bit out of hand for the stock, but congratulations if you got it. That's all I could say. I mean, it's a great breakout. You could have even taken the long when it reclaimed the whole price there and then just jammed 2150 long, giving it back into the previous high, and that would have worked out for you. But it's very, very thinly traded, 2 million in volume, but a 30-something cent spread at best at times here. If we see the 35 to 40 range tomorrow, I'm paying for locates because that makes absolutely no sense. To be sure, give us a 5-minute bet on Nvidia 420. Yeah, Streamlabs, you can go for that if you want to. Bear versus Bulls, greatest moderator out there. I don't take care of Streamlabs anymore, so Nvidia definitely has gravity to the 420 level. There's no question about that. It's whether or not it gives a short here. I don't want to force in too early.
Yeah. I don't know. Why do you want me to break another keyboard? I don't get that. I'm not that frustrated. I was frustrated at the keyboard, not at the stock.
I still want to do the.
That happened. We're supposed to get a graphic.
No, the rage room thing.
Oh, the rage room. Yeah, we should do a rage.
The next time the trainee graduates, we should do a rage room. Or
yeah, celebrate for some reason. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I've never done it before. I've seen the videos. We just go in, you break a bunch of shit. So I love Office Space when they destroy the printer. That's one of my favorite scenes of all time.
Yeah, that's the whole point. I mean, someone who ever thought of rage room.
It's all about the guy that does the high kick.
I have to
Like,
rewatch it. I'm gonna go find. It's probably on.
Because the actor, he can literally kick. He can put his like above his head.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
he just does the down kick. Gets rid.
Oh,
if I
he
did
does.
that,
Oh, I know. Hits it with his heel.
yeah, I would
Yeah,
tear my
yeah.
hamstring if I tried to do that. And so
Wow.
the actor could apparently pull that off. I have
Yeah.
no idea what the actor's name is, so I would shout him out for being
I'm gonna
hilarious
find
if I
that.
could. I know Mike Judge.
Why do you want us
but
to break the congratulations button? I don't even think I have that. Neil's the one. That
I'm the
always
one
hits
that has it. I don't have the money one. I don't have a bunch. I don't have it to trap anymore.
But you guys hit the like button.
Hola.
Yeah, hit that.
Like and subscribe today.
Yeah, there we go. I would love to go to a Rager. Woody, 420 Bud. Oh, it's not the 420 Bud Monster. Yeah, what's up to Steve G? Thanks for always reminding us about the likes. Whatever. You guys hit the like button if you want. That'd be nice. We're trying to get more and more followers for the show. More ideas, more followers. We are already the show to watch. So if you guys are happy with that, then so are we.
Samir is his name.
Yeah, what's up, Samir? What's up, everybody that's out there? Okay, so just quickly, Intel fell into we took a 91 fill there. We're out of half now. That's pretty good, man. I mean, I'm just, all we're trying to do on Intel is stack it up. We've done really well on Intel today, obviously. This is what my day looks like on Intel. I don't know about yours, but we wrote it right here on the sticky note. The sticky note's wrong. It's funny because the sticky note just says, look for some dip buys in Facebook, in Meta, which we should have had at 293 over and over again, then we wouldn't be in this position. Or wait for a 300 break, neither of which happened. So in the pre-market, the 300 broke, but that, we weren't talking about that. And then Intel also, that's why Intel 32 is right here right now. So that was a level that I wanted to look at as well. And we've shorted 32 there, 32 there, 32 there, and 32 there. So it's been a good day for us on Intel. Just a very, I don't want to say it's been a great day, it's been a simple day. Does that make any sense? It's been pretty easy to trade on Intel today, just back and forth off of one level. That's kind of what we like. The missed trade of the day for me, though, is Rivian. So I know Neil's on it, which is great, but that moved down. We wrote down 1950. It came into 1950.
There's one more too.
Right there. That's today. I don't know. It's not like Rivian halted there, but it does come down to 1960 right there and gave that fill. I just was not paying attention. So again, congratulations if you were, because that's a monster trade. And Rivian, I know you're on it, but that's been a great trade. What was the other one that you think?
Remember where it was? Someone mentioned PayPal. Look at the bottom on. So first of all, PayPal, the short was ridiculous. But if you look at where this stock bottomed, a lot of times it's not that complicated. Like, where would you buy the stock as it was falling? Do I have to point it at, like, this is a 15-minute chart. Look at the local low at 65.5. Then look at the daily chart. Does it look oh yeah, that's the 50 period. So it reclaimed 66 and it wants to have some gravity to get back to the 50 period. So it makes that local bounce. It doesn't have to be a monster. But once it starts going, okay, fine. If you're a day trader, you're risking 10 to 15 cents and it gets to VWAP. But it's more the fact that when you see it start to bounce off that kind of a level, you have more conviction in the trade. So that's what it's all about here. It doesn't have to be huge. Look, it doesn't break VWAP. It would have been nice if it did. Someone in the chat was like, is it wise to hold Rivian? I don't know. And again, I don't, like, all we ever do is show you the trades that we're looking at as day traders. We don't hold anything overnight. And this is the last time I'll use the pun, quite frankly. That's just a completely different ballgame. But yet a double bottom on it. I think it's a great, like, I'll be looking for the long tomorrow is the best way to think about it. Like, the simple period, the 200 period on the simple is above, but the exponential moving average, the 200 period, is at 22. I know that because I was talking about it this morning with Sharif. So you're going to be at a major resistance level tomorrow if we try to test 22. But look at the trend to the upside. If it breaks out from 22, room to 28, what's the short interest on Rivian here? The short interest on Rivian is
16, I think.
Why is it not loading? Okay, there we go, 16%. You were actually dead on. 16.05. So 16%, it has lots of reasons to run, but you're just coming off a bit of a double top here. Would I hold it overnight? Not really. The swing trade on this would have been much lower, and then above a breakout of 22 would be the next trade. But I'm going to be looking long as a default here, especially above 22 as a break. I think I was a little bit overly aggressive. You know what? I'll call it panicking out. I was panicking out here instead of looking for a reload. at 22.30. Like we had the breakout when it took out that previous high. It then bounced off the breakout price. I think I was panicking out on the way down, thinking it was going to break down and then getting out into it instead of looking for the reload. That can happen to you. I'm just holding a baby position now into the close with only 90 seconds to go till we get the actual imbalances coming out here. But this is one of the strongest names in the overall market. And when you want to go long something near the tops, then it should be something on a very strong trend. And that's what we're seeing here with Rivian.
Let's check out Mullen. Yeah, 1.77. We're not going to get anywhere close to the record.
It would have to be a huge.
It would have to be monstrous if there's anything going to happen with that. But okay, Mullen, I know that, I think you were just talking about it breaking 21 or something, or someone was in the chat.
I trailed out at 22.
22 is okay. So yeah, so 21's the low of the day. That's probably what it was. Right there. So 21 is the low of the day. Well, it's 20 half. 20 cents and 20 cents half, 0.205. I don't know how do you say that? Half of 20 half.
20 and a half.
20 half is the bottom of the day. We just basically touched it. And you know, you're going to say like, it's only 20 cents, like, you know, what could go wrong or whatever, but, you know, depending on how many shares you're putting on here, you know, 1 cent is nice, you know, 1 cent, 5%. So as it continues to move around, just watch out. We talked about it being above and or below VWAP, and right now we are below. So, you know, yesterday during its run, that's this morning. There's yesterday's run. We were above VWAP the whole day since we started. So obviously it started at 10 and just kept on going. So you never really going to break VWAP to the downside because it just kept on going. But today, if you were just going to try to say, okay, let's see if it does that same thing today. Oh, it's out. The
imbalances.
Go ahead to Neil's screen. I don't even
Shopify is $3 million to buy. That is dual listed. So before you get excited about that, I'll try to see what it is in Toronto. I don't have Toronto on this. Intel's a buy at 1.7. Apple's a buy at 1.3. Verizon, who cares?
It's not on Toronto.
Ford, 800,000. Pfizer, 700,000. These are all buys. Amazon, 600,000 buy. Say again? 2.2 billion. 2.2 billion to buy. Marvell's 500,000 to the buy side. So it's pretty much 2.2 billion is not bad. AMD's 450,000 to buy. I don't even see a single significant name to the sell side.
Is Meta there anywhere?
I did not see Meta.
Okay, because I just got long into Meta. So Shopify must be getting I don't know. I don't want to say rebalanced. It doesn't make any sense for today on a
it's
Thursday.
Not on Toronto, right?
No, I don't see it at all on Toronto right now. I mean, it could be on there. Oh, there it is. It's a buy, 90,000 shares, so nothing. So they're both buys. One is 3 million. Let's see what that did to Shopify stock. I was just showing you guys Meta there, and I'll talk about that maybe in a minute. So look at this. So the buy basically just gaps it up there from 61.60 up to 61.80. So that Shopify buy has gapped it up, but wait out for 350 when that probably does reverse. Uno reverse.
Yeah, it probably pairs off.
Oh, Pride calls it play the reverse card, or the Uno reverse. So we'll see if Shopify does that right there. All right, so what I was talking about was this just came in out of nowhere, Meta. So it fell down into 293. We were just cruising up here at 294. Was not expecting this to hit. Our stop was 295.50. It's been there the whole day. So if that does, well, since this newer position, and what is my worst stock, looks like it wants to be added to that as well. Because if we lose on this one, although this will be 70 cents worth of a loss, not on huge shares, but we'd still like to have a win on this at some point. It's got to get above this 293. Let's just see where it goes, man. Our average price is 293.27. Obviously, it can get back up to the upside, but we don't want to be dancing with the devil here. Look, see, there it goes. The problem is these imbalances will obviously affect the market, and it is coming to the downside. So I don't know whether or not Meta is a sell or not on here. It doesn't really matter. The numbers are already out, and it looks like it wants to take lower here. So that sucks, man. Meta, definitely a losing trade for me today. I've already discussed that. And that's what we talked about. We wanted to come in here with rose-colored glasses on. We thought Meta was going to take that 300. When it didn't, we started buying probably a little too prematurely. And as you can see today, it looks like Meta right now trying to retest lower. So I'm just not going to wait. You know, we've already lost. There's 292.50 right there, so it's already hit down a couple times. Looks like it wants to hit it again, and when it does, we will be fully out of meta against that price. So hopefully it holds out, but we won't cry over spilled milk at all. If it breaks lower, it breaks lower. That came in pretty quickly there for Meta. So yeah, not great trading here. That was the problem, really, the 295 long. And then right now, there it goes, we're out. So we'll flush ourselves down the toilet. Again, not a huge problem. It's just, that sucked there because we would like to have a bump. And you can't control those imbalances. It must have been a negative one.
They're selling the news on
for
that
Meta.
one.
They're selling the news, yeah.
Just before I get to Rivian, that
All
shop, $3 million to buy, but the paired volume is essentially nothing. So there's always paired volume. At 355, that paired is going to change huge. It might cut it in half. Rivian just made a fresh high. It just got to 2166. I don't think it gets to 22 here today. I have almost nothing left on this position. We had it twice to the long side, but this is, if I'm looking for improvement on this trade, it's this break at 21 instead of yesterday's high. That's that break, but 21 was a breakout. And then right in here at VWAP, this was a place to add, and I missed it. That's like, you could have added at 2020 and then moved your stop down to 20 even. That made all the sense in the world. I wasn't doing it at that time, but it is what it is. Like, there's always ways. In a trend, you should always be asking yourself, not did you hold it all day long, but like, where the hell should I have been adding to that position? Where should I have been building the long once again to play it to the upside? And I feel like there were obvious places to add, none more obvious than this consolidation here, and then off of VWAP. With less than 30 seconds, I'm going to...
Less than 30 seconds, oh.
No, so 30 seconds till 355. I'm kind of thinking shop might pair off really quickly. Not that I think I'd be fast enough to make a trade on it, but it's $3 million to buy right now, and it's a move like 50 cents to the upside. So if it pairs off, there might be like 50 cents to the downside here. We'll see in about 5 seconds. But my ability to see it pair and actually execute a trade, I'm not an algo. I doubt it's even actionable.
Yeah,
where is
it?
It's still a buy. Okay, so never mind. Still $2.8 million to buy on Shopify. That's actually stayed. Maybe there's something happening on Shop that we don't know about. Okay.
Brad said rebalancing. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's...
Something popped up on the imbalance locator at the top now, but it's a dual. This is just PBR. Never mind. This is a Brazilian, dual-listed Brazilian named Petrobras. So those usually, they're pretty insignificant because the real action happens in Brazil.
Yep. Yeah, PBR again. Some of these are
and
just
Vale's up there too.
Penny names to go. All right, so just real quick, man. We're making a little bit of cash here, so don't cry for me, Argentina. It's, by the way, Meta's back to 272.70. Not that I want to get back into that. But we just got a 90 fill and some 92 fills as well on Intel, and we're almost out of that as that came back in. And then we were lucky enough to also only have now 5% left of Google because we got a piece out 98, then another piece out there 93. And here's the downside push for Google, just getting everything out now as we're just closing up shop here. It's 356 and change. We'll wait to see if we get another fill down near that 120 for Google. I can cancel my 119.60. I guess that's not coming through right now. And then Intel's still there. Other than that, man, everything is pretty groovy. One name that we haven't checked out, though, has been Tesla all day. We talked about Look at those wicks. We're talking about, I can't even look at it then with those wicks, right? But we're talking about 275 right there. The bottom again today was right there off the open, basically. Comes in at 10 o'clock. Hits 273, and that was the lowest it saw. So, we'll write that down for tomorrow, depending on what kind of a day tomorrow is. Tomorrow's obviously a Friday.
What?
Is it?
It's Friday.
I can never remember.
It's
Today's
Friday.
Thursday.
You ain't got no job. You ain't got no money.
I don't have
you
a
ain't
job.
got ish to do.
Temporarily have a job.
No, come on.
Yeah, I know, it's Friday. Yeah, it's all good.
I love that movie.
You do.
Love
That is a great movie, of course, Friday. So
the first one.
Shout out. Yeah, always when they start to make different ones.
All right, so
It's
it's
never the same.
357.
Good out on Google.
That's it. I'm out at 2174 on Rivian. It's not going to get to 22. As I said, the real question is why not have more longs? At least 2 other times should have been long an area on the stock, but it's up 6%. It is the lone wolf, I want to say, out of the EV names that are that strong. So Lucid wasn't all that strong. It did break 7 late, but it's not even anything resembling it. Rivian is absolutely on a tear. You can't even say the Chinese EV names at this point. Like, this is the one that's going. So until it stops, 22 is the next big level to break in just 2 minutes. The market is going to close. Shop is still 2.7 million to buy.
Maybe we'll just have to watch that one.
I mean, I'm a little curious.
We're out of Intel. We're out of Google. Google did fall back down. We did get a 120.03 fill right there. So now, I got to cancel some of these. I had pending orders, stop orders, so now we are all stopped out. Wow, look at Meta. We just talked about Google. Meta actually went the other way. Kept on going. It did come back up to the 293, and that was a downside move. Let's watch out for second day weakness tomorrow on Meta because it's only down 1%. It was flirting for green or at least flat for most of the day. We had yesterday's close rate here, 294. So, you know, if you're going to look at that, that was about the average price today, right? 294. So looking at that right there. So now you're below it. Could start to tick a little bit lower heading into tomorrow. So again, bouncing off that 300, there's lots of potential for it, but that 300 a good level for Meta tomorrow. So we'll watch out for 294. As there it comes in, it looks like it wants to actually, what was the low of the day on Meta? How low did we go? How low did we go?
Oh, it was like 90.
Right there, 91.50.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're trying to take that out right now into the close for Meta. I know a lot of you are saying, I saw in the chat, you know, Meta's being sued, this and that. I've already thrown cold water on that, but that doesn't mean that that's what it is. I mean, I just don't think, I feel like there's a lot of apps out there that are trying to do something like Twitter. I mean, it's a messaging app.
Big cap, like the big tech names have been suing each other over similar
Snapchat,
products
there's
all
a
the
bunch
time.
of everything.
So it's not that abnormal. With 30 seconds to go, it did happen. Really, right at the end, Shop paired off.
Right.
So like you had to be so fast to catch it. I can't tell. There was, look, if you're an algo, you got, or if you were sitting in the short anticipating it, but it did pair off and now down at 61.80. We have Refrain on the bell in less than, oh my goodness,
here she is.
Almost 10 seconds to go. So I should probably be doing this.
Yes.
Which is hitting the countdown. I got it. Oh, great shirt. Alcatraz.
Never gets stuck there.
5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it. It's a big tourist attraction. My wife's been to Alcatraz because she was in San Francisco years ago, and I don't know. I've never been to it. That would be cool.
She swims with the fishes there on Alcatraz.
If you ever, I don't know if you've ever seen. There was a Clint Eastwood movie about the guy that escaped from it. Not a bad film.
I've seen some stuff there. I used to watch David Copperfield, and he did Escape from Alcatraz. I love David Copperfield.
I remember those. Remember
Whatever happened to those good old?
It's more like the street magic now.
Yeah, it's David Blaine.
It's like that kind of
stuff
stuff
now. Yeah, I used to like that sort of performance stuff. I used to stay up and watch David Copperfield. He made the Eiffel Tower,
Statue of Liberty.
I was like the lady.
That one.
Statue of Liberty disappear as well. It'd be kind of cool if he made the CN Tower getaway. Escape from Alcatraz. Good one.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah. Good one there. The Rock as well. Okay, let's go back over and figure out how we ended up the day. It looks like Meta does take out its day's low.
Red was the theme of the day here, guys, as Bradley sets up for the closing show, or the after close show, the closing part, the after party show. Let's just go to the screen. The S&P 500 down 0.8, the Dow taking it on the chin, 1.09. Likewise with the NASDAQ 0.81 to the downside. Toronto not faring much better, 1.65. Crude, the only positive name on the day, up 0.1, guys.
A little bit.
It is a little bit of a red day. See ya, Parsa.
You go.
You gone. See ya, dude.
See ya,
okay, man, good show today. We are getting ready to do the after party with Prad, so that should be happening very, very soon, just after we are done. Thanks, Ramin. She rang the bell. Thanks, Fabian. Fabian got some pretty cool animations, including this one. This was a big one during the midday show. They were really, really liking that. We'll see if we can pump that again. We had some Dollar Club losers with Meta today, but a lot of winners too. Microsoft was a surprise one. Their Rivian was a good trade too. I know you had some there.
What is
Tesla? And right now, Meta's breaking through 291.
I was going to say, it's still actually moving
lower as well. So I feel like that's going to be good to go. Yeah, there's Meta. Look at that. Yeah.
Baby.
Look at that, 291 right there, trying to break a little bit lower right now. That's the day's low. It just took it out right now. Light volume, of course. Oh, let's do a Mullen check quickly. Obviously, it didn't get anywhere near, but 1.8 billion, so that's a pretty good one.
Record stands.
Yeah, back and forth there as my watch switches hands. But that was pretty cool. The record still stands, 2.1 billion from Vodafone. Tell all your friends you heard that here on the best show for day
Yes,
traders
sir.
and period. Thank you, Sharif, again. Only one more day, and then Sharif's on vacation, you're on vacation. Then it's me and the Madman, and Brendan returns. So that should be a lot of fun. They're coming back as Neil goes camping. Sharif goes to Hawaii, the West Coast, going to SoCal, then Hawaii. This guy's going
Little
car
different.
camping. That should be a lot of fun.
Hey.
Little different experience there, but it should be a lot of fun anyways, as I love camping. We always get a cottage and do something, so I don't think this year we're way too busy. I've practiced tonight.
Well, that's the thing. When you have all the rep stuff, it's like, how do you miss a rep games
You
and
don't.
tournaments?
Oh,
And stuff?
plus
You
my
don't do it.
daughter starts her rep hockey tomorrow night in Oakville.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why we do the camping now, because once Aaron's into the sports, what are we supposed to do? Like, you're not going to get those chances again. You acting like it's bad. Like, I love you put that face on like you don't love it.
It's just a lot.
Oh, you love
I mean,
it.
obviously I love it. I'm a damn coach. So, but shout out to everybody there who has kids.
Coach
Dad,
Katina, baby.
Coach,
you know
Coach
what's
C.
good.
Coach
You
C.
know what's good. Okay, man. I mean, be as much involved in your kids' lives
Yeah,
because
that's-
they just get too old. I mean, Baxter's at school now, you know, and it's like whatever. I just saw that guy. Anyways, we can go on and on. Join us tomorrow for more dad life ranting. But for Neil, Sharif, Max, Obi today, can't forget about that guy.
Yep.
That guy's killing it every day as well. Thank you so much for watching. But right now, and Bears versus Bulls, and everybody that's with us every single day, we salute all of you. Dan Emmons as well. Say hi to Baelish for me. We will be back tomorrow. But for right now, it's Prad and it's the after party. See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao.
Welcome everybody to the after party, as they keep calling it, or maybe I'm the one who started it and they're just following along with me. That's exactly how it was.